concept. You have a great concept. You guys are doing it, man. And it's an honor for me to just be, a small rock, man, in your mountain. I'm going to pop a top in your honor.
Mr. Doc Walker blessed us with his presence and knowledge.
We want to welcome in our next special guest, Haley Skarupa. She's a three-time world champion in women's ice hockey and most recently won Olympic gold with Team USA.
The Caps Stadium Series is definitely my favorite, obviously. I'm a huge Caps fan, I always have been, and to be there at that game with my teammates and for us to bring, our gold medals to there and share it with everyone in this area was really, really special for me, and just the support and it's been tremendous from everyone in this area, and you can feel that there at that game.
Welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast. Hashtag DC Sports Without the Politics with Carol and Robbie on True Radio Network.
Let me know when we're on.
And we're on. Welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast, episode 405. It's a live show right now. We've got Gil joining us. The Caps and Flames are tied 3-3 with 10:38 left. It's about to go into an intermission. I thought I could play little clips of our friend C4's live reporting from the game, showing footage from her section. And so I thought maybe I could have it playing some footage from her in the background, including some of the goals. Well, Gil, do you want to break down the first three goals for the Caps when things were going well in this game?
Yeah, when things were going well. Excellent way of putting it. It was a decent start to the game. 2:46 in. Hendrix Lapierre, all alone in front of the net, found by Faravari. Play started by Declan Chisholm at 2:46 for Lapierre's second against the Flames, at least, his third overall for the year. And then a few minutes later, Tom Wilson with a wonderful
Here's the Hendrix Lapierre goal from C4's
here
point
we
of
are.
view.
Yes, I see that. Excellent.
Beautiful.
Yes. So as you can see, he's crashing the net. And very, very good play.
All right.
Very good play.
And then she got the next goal as well. So here's that one.
Okay. So, all right. There's the Jumbotron replay. So you see Chikrin with the launch on net. It goes all the way to the left side, where Wilson picks up and look where he is when he's shooting it. That is a razor sharp angle.
Yep.
And do not tell me he does not have any skill, because that is Ovi-like quality with that shot.
For sure. And then here is the third goal.
Okay, this one by Connor McMichael at 17:43. Assisted by Sordiff and Beauvillier. Sordiff with a wonderful pass to find McMichael in the slot area. So let's see if the video picks it up again.
Oops, sorry, that was my fault. I'm clicking too many buttons. All right.
Yeah, great shot by McMichael as well.
Yep, and then unfortunately, kind of went a little bit downhill from there, the Calgary Flames would score the next three goals in the second period. So 3 goals for us in the first, 3 goals for them in the second, leaves it to 3-3 into the third. Washington's currently on a power play right now.
And two of those 3 goals were shorthanded. So the same power play yielded 2 shorthanded goals for the visiting Flames. But
I was putting my kid away, or to bed, not away, but I missed that completely. So, so that's unfortunate. But hopefully we can get something done here on this power play for sure.
Score update to answer your question. Yes, they did. Connor McMichael has just scored on the power play, his 10th of the year at 10:52.
Oh,
to put the
I'm
Caps up
behind
by
you.
one.
Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, I completely.
And the Caps just got another.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm rewinding so I could see the first one live. Wow. Connor McMichael.
Caps are on a tear right now. This is great to see.
Nice.
After that,
Was that Ovechkin who put it through? Oh no, I think it was already in, right? And then he put it. Yeah.
yes, Ovechkin was in front of the net, and had it been a rebound, I'm pretty sure he would have put it away. And just now, okay, so just now, Justin Sorta from the right circle off the looks like the seat of the pants of a Calgary defender. I'll put it that way. Um, and into the net, puts the Caps up by a deuce.
But so who scored the second one? Sorry, I was still watching
Justin
it.
Sorta.
Nice, nice. So it's
So
funny.
they
I actually have a way that I
back
could show it
alive.
live, but I'm not going to because I'm just too scared that it's going to get a copyright strike. So, but the way that my computer is set up currently, I could click one button and show that replay. But I will play by the rules and we'll just show them live from C4. So if we get any live goal updates from C4, I'll try to download those real quick and put those live on air as well. I want to thank Eric for being in chat with us, and so it was my dad and other friends joining us across, whether on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitch, twitch.tv/RobbieG_SportsOTHP. If you want to interact with the chat live, and then also you can watch us live on Facebook and chat as well. Sometimes I don't see those as often, so I apologize if I miss any of those comments. And then also on YouTube, it's live as well, which is Robbie Gross on YouTube. So you can check out a bunch of other stuff that we've been posting over there and on my Gross Scuba channel as well. Welcome on in, Tina French. So I'm happy, Gil, that the luck of our podcast is once again returned. I got very nervous with the entire setup period while I was setting everything up. It just kept on going downhill. I was like, man, I felt great when I came down to start setting up when we were up 3-0, and then I'm like, ew, it's getting worse. And so I started like watching WWE and trying not to focus on it, and oh man, it was getting bad. But happy to see that our combo has once again been able to figure it out, and we get two big goals here. I don't know. Do you think that this game is even enough to save our season? We'd have to like basically win all the remaining games.
Well, okay, so I don't want to kill all the feel-good moment that is this comeback, but this is the 8 quadrillionth example of why this team is most likely not going to make the playoffs. And even if they do, if this is what we can expect, this kind of an up and down game, okay, it makes for great TV, but it does not make for good cardiovascular health. That's for damn sure.
Right. Yeah.
Sure. And I just do not see, even if they manage to find a way to sneak into the playoffs, and it's going to be a sneak into the playoffs at this point. If they manage to find a way to get in, I just don't see anything, any sort of light switch, any change from this team where they just flip a switch and they start playing a lot better because it's the playoffs. They just don't have it in them this year. This is a bottom tier team on the Western Conference that has no hope. This should be an easy 2 points. They should be walking all over them, and instead it took probably the butt reaming of all time between periods from their coaching staff, I hope. And now they're back in it, and this is okay. So they're swarming the net right now. They're in the middle of a cycle. They're probably going to hold it if they can, and they turn it over just as I say it. But they were swarming the net, keeping the puck for upwards of 30 seconds or more in the zone. That's the team that should have come out all 3 periods, and we're just now seeing it again here. I
Welcome
don't
on in,
understand why this
Jenaya.
team can't hold it for 60 minutes. I just don't.
Yeah, so Jenaya, I know that you were at work, so I don't know how much you've been following this game, but it was a very good
Well,
first period.
I'm just catching up here. It's a circus, eh?
It's we scored 3 goals in the first. We have C4 live at the game, so we actually showed the first 3 goals from her point of view. So we have a live reporter, which is kind of cool. So we showed that, and then the second period was terrible, where 3 goals were scored against us while I was setting everything up, and then we just scored 2 goals here, one by McMichael. That was a beauty, and then a sort of goal as well. And so now with 5 minutes and 44 seconds, we're up 5-3. Just some wild stuff. But how are you doing?
Other than 2 shorthanded goals on 1 power play,
I didn't
good.
see it. I was putting my kids to bed, so I missed all of that. But, but by the sounds of it from Gil's point of view, it did not sound good. Which I actually don't know if I've ever heard of that before. So
It's happened before, and they've actually done it before.
Oh wow.
Sad to say.
Yeah. I mean, I believe you. I just maybe I blacked that out of my memory. It's been a wild week. Let's go back a little bit because we were going to recap the week that was. So I have a question, Gil. For audio purposes, for this, is the only one that has music or sound the last one, or do any of them have sound? I just wanted to prepare my audio system.
So the middle, it would be the middle two. So any ones, if you look at the file names, anyone that
audio
have
there. So it's these two. Okay.
audio.
Okay. All right. So this one can play without it. All right. I'm just going to turn the audio on so it's on for when we do it. All right. Sounds good. So let's talk about this first goal here. I'll let you break it down.
So before we begin, there's a common leitmotif among these 4 videos. Just to make things fun, and I'll give you a hint. You'll pick it up if you're a fan of movies. So let's go ahead and pick up this one, which was the first one against the Utah Tuska Warriors. So this goal was all Pierre Dubois, and look at him go zigzag with the puck right there. Only in the skate path of the goal will he proceed. Look at this. Hands off from Sandin. Great pass, and just evades the Utah defense, and a great shot. God, they have missed him.
Yeah.
So badly.
Jenaya, what are some of your thoughts on that goal by Pierre-Luc?
Yeah, I mean, he's just been on fire since he came back. I think Gil just said it. They have missed him all season. I think if they had him all season, they probably would easily be in a playoff spot. It's just, it's a guy that you can't replace, right? It's not just the offense that he brings, it's also everything that he does defensively, all of the tough matchups that he takes on. And I was a little bit worried with him coming back from that surgery, because sometimes that's a little bit of a tough one for guys to recover from. And sometimes it's a really long period of time before they actually start looking like themselves again. But he's just come right back, and he just looks like the Pierre-Luc Dubois that we had all of last season. He's right back to that right away. So that's great news for the Caps, that it doesn't seem like that the effects from that surgery are going to linger at all. And that's certainly good news for next season. But I wish that we had him all season, because it probably would have made a big difference.
Yeah, it's just such a bummer. I feel like, I don't know. I didn't want to, the pundits were saying that there was going to be a regression, and I was like, oh, that's what you said last year, and then we were the number 1 team, right? And so I didn't want to believe it, and it's just, this whole week has kind of been a bummer, because I understand why we moved the 2 players that we did. We haven't really talked about it so far yet on the show, but, obviously they're fan favorites, but for what we got back for them, it was a really good deal, and you kind of have to take that deal, and hopefully maybe John Carlson comes back. Who knows? But it's just the 2 losses, losing some of these players, and I just kind of feel like even in this game where I was like, oh, maybe it's gonna turn around, and then they come roaring back, and even that just doesn't seem doesn't feel like it's our year, right? And it's a bummer. We've been very fortunate as Caps fans over the last 20 years to have a lot more seasons where we did make the playoffs. I believe it's like 16 or 17 out of the last 20, so which most franchises would kill to have that, by the way, right? I feel like sometimes our fan base may take it for granted, right? And it's a bummer still, no matter how, whenever you don't make it. But it's just, I don't know, it's kind of rough. But all right, so this goal thought was going to breathe life into the Capitals at the time. They were down 3-1. We needed this goal, another power play goal, which is great. Gil, I'll let you break down this one.
Okay, so very quick scoring update. Calgary emptied their net with about 3 minutes left to go. Ethan Frank takes it down to the other end, puts it away. It's now 6-3 Caps. Nice. So unless the Caps get another long power play, I think we can put this one in the books. So there's that.
They call a 5-minute major on us and we're screwed. It's tied.
Yeah. Dripping with sarcasm, but
well, let's talk about power plays when they were successful.
This one, for example, right here. So this one, Chychrun starts it. It's the triangle play up with Leonard, who plays the part of the young Padawan, and puts it away from the right circle. So here it is again. Chychrun holds at the point. 2-man game with Strome. Leonard gets open and delivers the slash into the net for the, not the tying goal, but to put them within one goal. Now, unfortunately, this was all they would muster in this game, and just sorely wishing for more again. But
I can't believe Ethan Frank has 12 goals very quietly now, because we were talking, early in the season he was so slow to get on the scoreboard. So that's at least good to see.
He's been good. He earned that extension that he got for a couple of years. He's had a really good last 3 quarters of the season.
Yeah, for sure.
Worth every bit of that money.
Yeah. And I'm so curious what we're going to do in this offseason now. Like, I know I talked to both of you guys. You both did. By the way, we kind of just jumped into it because it was a live game and so much going on. Both Gil and Jenaya both did great. Trade deadline recaps. Gil and Jenaya both tried the live podcasting gig, and which was fun, and I think really a cool experience with both of you. I enjoyed both of your shows a lot, and so I definitely encourage people to go back and check both of them out. But it's just frustrating because I just don't know if this means for Ovechkin going forward, if this helps or hurts our chances, of him. It doesn't look good, right? It's like this season doesn't look good. I don't know, unless they decide to sign for a hometown discount and coerce somebody else major to come into here to just try to do a 1 more year thing. I don't know. You bring John Carlson back on a cheap contract too to mentor people. It didn't work this year. I don't know what is to prove that it will next year. But it's crazy because Ovechkin's still our leading scorer, so clearly I want him back.
And I feel like that's such a, when people are like, oh, this, the team has regressed so much this season. I feel like that's such a, it's kind of just an incorrect take in a way, because really, the only thing that has regressed is the special teams. They're still the same team that they were last season at 5-on-5. The difference is the power play is it last in the league now, or is it 31st? It's got to be pretty close to last. And the penalty kill has sucked as well. So they're I mentioned this on my show the other day, they're the 4th best team in the NHL at 5-on-5. They have the 4th best goal differential in the entire NHL at 5-on-5. They're plus 25. It's going to be more after today. So they've been a really, really, really strong 5-on-5 team still, just like they were last season. The only thing that's different is the special teams are a complete dumpster fire, and they have done nothing to change them all season.
So why is it so much worse, do we think, this year?
To me, as someone who has played hockey my whole life, and this is just my opinion and what it looks like they have, on the power play specifically, they have really tuned out the coach. Kirk Muller. Like,
hey, we got another goal.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt either you or Jenaya, but yes, Ryan Leonard is it's McNuggets a la Leonard as he scores at about I want to say 19:30, which is great because he's been pressing ever since the beginning of the third period. If anybody listened to what probably was the scream out of all time during intermission, which I hope happened. It was him because he was playing like he really wanted it, and I'm glad he got a goal this period because he was really looking for one.
Yeah, it's funny because it's nice that we have it on the screen. His other goal, the third period one, while he's scoring. Anyway, I like the symbolism. But anyway, Jenaya, I'm sorry. I was just very excited for Ryan Leonard. So, but that
was a pretty one. I just thought I'm a little bit behind, but no. All I was saying was that as someone who's like played hockey my whole life, to me it looks like, and this is just my opinion because obviously like we're not in the locker room, we don't know, but it looks like a team that has been like, these players have been really frustrated with their own power play for going on 2 seasons now. Like, the power play was better last year, but it wasn't good. Like, it was still really, really frustrating at a lot of points of that season.
It hasn't been good in a long time, to be honest.
Like, yeah, it hasn't. And it just looks like they've been so frustrated with their own power play for so long. It looks like they've been trying to do what the power play coach has been telling them to do, and they've been trying to do it for so long, and it's the same things over and over and over. Like, there's been no changes made, like, strategically on the power play. They might change like a tiny thing here or there, but there's been basically no change. They still do this stupid slingshot pass every power play. Like, it's the same crap every power play. And they look like a team that has been trying to do the things that their power play coach wants them to do. And they've been trying to do it for, like I said, going on 2 seasons now or more. And they just look like they've been trying it for so long. It hasn't worked. It's still not working. And they're just frustrated at this point. And it just looks like they've kind of tuned him out. And I don't want to say it looks like they're trying to get him fired, because like, you never want to say or think that, but like, it does look like maybe subconsciously, like they're just kind of done with it. Like, to me, it looks like a group of players on the ice that like, they've been trying it for so long, it hasn't worked, and they're just done.
Well, I know what I can only speak for me and my group, and some will not like to hear this, but I know what my folks are sick and tired of is Alex Ovechkin on the entire power play for 2 minutes, doing almost nothing. And at times that is it's a hindrance. I have to say it. It's a bit of a hindrance. He takes a shot, it goes wide, the puck gets turned over. He's still got that wonderful shot, that wonderful sense of going to the net. But to expect him to back check 195 feet after a missed shot is too much to ask of a 40-year-old. And because of that, in part, you saw what happened in that second period. And a lot of it had to do with what Jenaya was saying too. They're out of sync. They're not communicating with each other. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not protecting the puck. They're not playing like they have the man advantage. They're playing like they're trying to just hold on to the puck and hope they don't do anything stupid. Well, they did something stupid twice in less than 2 minutes. And I don't know. I'm glad to see that they redeemed themselves in this game, but this has been, what we saw in the second period has been closer to the norm than them having any success. And I really don't understand what the problem is. But yeah, you take out, if special teams were improved, I would say 7% either way. If there was some sort of swing either way, then this team is not fighting for a playoff spot, but they have probably have one secured, but well, not secured, but they're at least in that conversation. They're out of the conversation right now.
Yeah, see, this is what I was saying, like on my show too, is that if they were even, because both of their special teams have been so bad, like if they were even league average, they would, like if they were even breaking even or even close to it, they would easily be in a playoff spot. And I agree with what you're saying for sure. Like Ovechkin at 40 years old, he doesn't need to be on the power play for the full 2 minutes. But I also, like, it's also a little frustrating seeing, like, it seems like fans, like, that's like all that they'll say about the power play. Like, it's just, oh, just take Ovechkin off of it and it'll be fixed. Just take Ovechkin off of it and it'll be fixed. Like, that's not true. Like, we just gave up. I just saw these 2 shorthanded goals. Neither of those are even close to being his fault. The first one, we win the faceoff. He's playing the left wing. He's not playing the point on that one. They've got Ryan Leonard now back on the point with Chychrun. He's playing the left wing. He's along the boards. We win the faceoff back. It's right off of the faceoff. Win the faceoff back. Here, they're just playing it again right now. We win the faceoff back. Ryan Leonard passes it directly to 2 Calgary Flames, and then they pass it out for a breakaway the other way. Like, Ovechkin's never even close to touching that puck. It's not his fault at all on that one. The second shorthanded goal, same thing. There's 3 other guys back who are dicking around with the puck. They lose it in their own end. And the 2 high guys, Ovechkin and whoever else was, I think it was Wilson. No, sorry, Wilson's one of the, they're just showing this one again too. So Ovechkin and Chychrun were the 2 high guys. It's Strome, Leonard, and Wilson, who are the 3 guys in our own zone against 1 and then 2 Calgary Flames, and they lose the puck battle, lose the puck, turn it over, and it's a goal. Like, how is this Ovechkin's fault? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I feel like fans, that's all they want to point to. And it's like, yes, he does not need to be on the power play for the full 2 minutes. Yes, he only has 4 power play goals. The guy who has the most only has 7. That's Tom Wilson. So it's not as if anyone else is really doing anything either. But it's just like, I feel like that's like fans who are like, if you just take Ovechkin off the power play and it'll be fixed, that is so far from the truth. Like, the problems are so much deeper than that right now. And I also think that, like, to be a little bit fair to the Caps coaching staff and why they have him out there for the full 2 minutes, that also points to, like, how much they need to acquire a scoring forward. Because I think he's out there for, like, the full 2 minutes on these power plays, or most of the full 2 minutes on most of these power plays, is because they don't really have another shooting threat up front. Like, they don't really have anybody who has, like, a really threatening shot other than Jacob Chychrun on the back end. But up front, it's like they don't really have much, you know. Like, I saw a stat today, they might go this entire season and not have any player on their team hit 60 points. That hasn't been done by a team in the NHL since 2015, 2016. And
I actually mentioned that. It was painfully obvious. You go over the score sheet of the Bruins game. Mm-hmm. Just look at the assist count on the first goal. Pasternak has something like 51 assists. Yeah. Just on assists alone, he has more points than just about everybody on the Caps, just with assists alone. And the secondary assist, whoever, I can't remember who got that, but that person had like 30 something. And I can't off the top of my head think of anyone, with the possible exception of John Carlson, who isn't on the team anymore, has even anything close to that total.
The next closest guy is 40-year-old Ovechkin. That's the problem. Yeah. Like, everybody wants him off the team, supposedly. He's still the leading scorer on the team. Like, other guys have got to step up. It's been like, and this is the problem, is like they used to have that guy who is that actual elite player and that elite scorer, and that was Alex Ovechkin. And they've tried to milk this thing from him for as long as they possibly can. And they didn't adequately plan for the fact that he would eventually show his age. And it's happening now this season, and they have no answer for it, no plan.
So I have a question for you. How much of that is, and I really, how much do you think of that is him saying, well, I want it. Can you try to give me some pieces, or the management saying, well, you know what? He's the one selling all the tickets. Let's make it around him. There's a disconnect?
Yeah, I don't think it's to do with like I honestly don't think Ovi's telling them what to do at all, because like if like this John Carlson thing, it seemed like he had no idea that was happening. It seemed like Tom Wilson had no idea that was happening. Nobody had any idea that was happening. So it doesn't seem like they're like checking in with him, I guess, as much as like you would think that they would. I know a lot of the analysts were like, they seemed really surprised that like Ovechkin seemed caught off guard by that. Like they would assume that like as a management group that when you have a player of that stature that you would be checking in with him before you go and do something like that. But it doesn't seem like they do. So I don't, the trade deadline really bothered me because it just seemed like it was like a team, an organization that like they just felt like, I don't know. It seemed like they were caught in the middle of what they wanted to do. And so they tried to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And it doesn't really work when you're like, you've got to either shit or get off the pot, you know, like you can't go both ways. Like you've got to either sell or buy. You don't go sell John Carlson and Nick Dowd and then buy Timothy Liljegren and David Kampf. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like if you were gonna sell, like get rid of TVR, get rid of Duhaime, get rid of Lindgren, like sell if that's what you're gonna do. It doesn't make any sense to go halfway. So I feel like the trade deadline pointed to the fact that they are kind of like caught in the middle and they don't really know what they're doing, which was really troubling to me.
Well, I think part of the problem was the ridiculous returns that were coming in as a result of the deals made at the deadline. That's why I've never been a big believer in deadline deals, because the sense of urgency is like way up there as opposed to the off season where, you know, everybody's on a level playing field, but you got teams trying to make the playoffs. Yeah. And so they're going to load up. They're going to load up like hell, and pay whatever price they can to get whoever they can. So that kind of skews the real value. So maybe they did shop Lindgren or a TVR and didn't get what they felt was fair value for them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think, Gil, I think you make a great point. Honestly, because I was looking at what Toronto got back for some of their deals, and it's shit. And I'd rather just not just give up things for nothing, you know?
You can't go by the Leafs. Come on.
I know, but I don't know. I get that. But I'm just saying other teams in the league weren't getting crazy returns, right? It's not like... I feel like we were going to overpay if we tried to buy some people, and I felt like we were not going to necessarily, like... I don't know. But we'll see C4 real quickly here. I do want to get her thoughts on because she's live. Yeah, we're our reporter on the scene.
The street, getting ready to walk to Metro Center.
Nice. So C4, what were some of your thoughts? I know it started off great, wasn't great in the middle, and then it ended well.
Let's just say somebody must have had a come to Jesus talk with them in the locker room, and I wish it had been me.
Yeah. Tell me about that view. You had a pretty hell of a view in there for...
Yeah, we were up in the Ultra Club. It was absolutely fantastic. Could see everything. Actually, the funny thing is all 10 goals were scored at the other end of the ice. None were scored on this end or at that end of the ice.
That's wild that could even be a thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I really wish I had been able to be in that locker room, but somebody gave them a come to Jesus talk. I mean, they came out kind of slow, but they picked it up, they got it together, and finished strong. But why can't we do that for 60 minutes?
Yeah, it's funny. So I feel like C4, you jinxed your own goal, right? The one near you, like nothing happened there, and everything.
Your team not in Calgary, they would have lost. That might be true.
So it's good to see Marcus is there as well. Welcome on in. We got a lot of people joining us live on Twitch right now. Welcome on in, H-Rod and Champ. But yeah, no, I'm excited that they finally got.
Yeah, they needed to come out and finish this game. Yes, they sucked up the joint in the second period. We were outshot. Well, before the 2 goals, I think it was 12-6. We were outshot in the second period. So it was just, I can't even talk about the second period. But I can't even talk about the beginning of the third period. It was just as bad. But
let's just say
Yeah.
glad it was Calgary.
Yeah, I think Marcus has a point. If it had been Boston or pretty much almost anybody else, it might have been.
Oh, it would have been game over.
It would have been a lot closer.
Buffalo on Thursday, they're losing.
So C4, I got to tell you, because I know you're a big wrestling fan, the Judgment Day is currently imploding live on Raw, where the whole entire Judgment Day is attacking Finn Balor. So.
Oh, I knew that was gonna happen. What about the Oba Rusev match? Did that happen yet?
It has not happened yet. So, but the gauntlet took forever on the women's side. That was like the longest gauntlet ever. So we'll have to get a report on how long that was. But it was like the whole first hour. But it was good. There's a lot of great storylines. You're gonna like it. You can definitely go back and watch it for sure.
Okay, who won?
The gauntlet. I actually didn't even see the end, which is hilarious. Okay. So, but it's good. So I won't spoil it for you then. So.
All right, that's cool. I'll tune in later to check it out.
Yeah, but it was good.
I know Sith and Ken were talking about it in the other chat, so.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, frog splash with a chair.
But anyway.
But anyway, C4, any final thoughts? I know that you're going to have to probably go soon, but I love the video. We got to show all the goals from the first period.
Excellent. Yeah, the third period one should be posted too, but yeah, I didn't do a lot of live shooting. I just grabbed them as they shot the goals and shot the replays. But final thoughts, all in all, at the end of the day, it wins a win. It wasn't pretty, but we got it done. But the next 3 games are going to be difficult to say the least.
Nice.
Yeah.
So.
I'm seeing them right now. Can I download?
So.
But cool. Okay, I'll show the 2 final goals as well.
Okay.
So that's great.
Yeah. But yeah, the next 3 are going to be difficult. Actually, the next 4, if you count the Avs, which is the next game Marcus and I are going to. So.
Nice. Well, the Avs will be a loss for sure.
Oh, they
don't
play the Avs
but I know that for Marcus, who likes the Avs, that'll be good for him.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. At any rate, I will.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for checking in and being our live reporter.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, later, C4.
Night.
Bye.
All right, cool. That was fun. We've never actually had a live. It's funny, in overdoing 400 of these shows, Jenaya, I always wanted to have a live reporter, and because we always have things like this happen, and it's never happened. So we got something live on tonight's show. I've actually thought about live reporting and having Carol run the board once, but I was like, it's too complicated. So that worked out well, though. We got a post-game reaction from going to that. So thanks to C4 for the videos. We also have the videos of them, but I think that I'm going to not download it and try to figure that out right now. But, Jenaya, well, let's talk about the other game, right? Because we still have one goal to talk about in the other game, Gil.
That we do, and I have a bonus video, a bonus track.
Okay, so let's...
Owing to recent events, but...
So let's do both of those, and then we could talk about the upcoming schedule a little bit, and then we can, if I have time, I'll try to download those videos as well. All right, so this one was, at the time, actually tied it up for Alexei Protas. Why don't you break this one down, Gil?
Okay, so Leonard starts to play. The diagram doesn't show up, but it's Chychrun holding, then firing as he gets to the right circle, and Protas just picks up the garbage and throws it past Swayman for the goal.
Yeah, I mean, I love how quick his hands are. Obviously, Protas is just... He's coming back into form. I'm happy to see that, we talked about this last week. I really felt for the previous couple of months he wasn't looking great. But then he sort of has come on strong again here. It's just unfortunate because I just feel like there was a lot of near misses this season, and there's a lot of could have, made it to that next level. And it's just, I feel like we didn't get it together enough times. And I think what you guys have been talking about with the special teams is a big reason why, and it's just disappointing that they couldn't figure that out, because I feel like they have the players. I don't know, and I feel like this is kind of a little bit of a lost season for what potentially could be Ovechkin's last season, which I hope is not the case, but I think is looking more and more likely. Jenaya, what are some of your thoughts here on this Protos goal?
Yeah, I mean, Protus deposits it into the net, but I thought, yeah, the real star on this goal was Chikrin. Like, just what an unbelievable job and unbelievable plays by him. Like, I think he held the puck for like it was close to 20 seconds just inside the blue line, and he's like dangling. I think by the end of the play, he had dangled every single Boston Bruin on the ice. Like, it was crazy, and then he finishes it off with that move going between his own legs to get around the last defender. It was just like, this is stuff that you typically see only from like one of the highest paid forwards in the league, never mind a defenseman. So he can do some crazy things as a D-man. Like, I'm so happy that we have him locked up a long term the way that we do for the 8-year contract, because he's just an unbelievable player.
Yeah, for sure. Gil, any other final thoughts on this one before we get into your? Unfortunately, there was no other scoring. Spoiler alert in this game.
There was not. We wish there was, but there was not, sadly. And yeah, it's. I think a lot of it had to do with recent events. Again, they just didn't play like a team that could summon up the desire. I wonder why. But it wasn't that they were completely out of it, and they weren't. It wasn't that they weren't giving the effort. Obviously, you got two guys on this one play here going to the net. So there was effort, but
that goalie has our number. He just seems to destroy us every time, right? It's funny because I feel like there have been the opposite scenarios before that we've like had certain Bruins, goalies in the past number, and like now I feel like it's kind of come to roost. Like the law of averages is like with him done the opposite, right? So
I remember vividly because like the Boston Bruins are my favorite uncle's favorite team, and so I vividly remember that we at one point not too long ago had won 14 straight games against them, and Braden Holtby had at one time 3 straight shutouts in a row against them. Like, Holtby just owned them.
And then Thomas, I think, lost so many of those, right? Wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Anyway, good times. I miss those times. But it's definitely frustrating to see how these games have now become against the Bruins, who desperately needed that, and we desperately needed to take 2 points and give them 0 if we really wanted a chance here. And this is kind of, in some ways, waving the white flag. I'm happy we got the win against a West Coast team today, but it doesn't count doubly like these games do. So it's a little bit frustrating. But I'm gonna let Gil. Do you want me to play it first and you talk about it? Or do you want to preview the video before I do? What do you want to do?
You go ahead and play. I think it's self-explanatory.
Okay. Is there audio? I don't even know.
No audio.
Okay.
You can just pause it. It's just a picture.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right.
It's too soon for that, Gil. I can't look at that.
Yes. Has he played a game so far for them?
He has not. I think he is still working through whatever injury he had. It's the only explanation I can come up with.
Yeah.
But no, to my knowledge, he has not played a game for them.
I saw today that because of his lower body injury, they said they're hoping to get him back closer to the end of their road trip that they're going on. So
yeah,
he's gonna, I think, miss a few more games.
I mean, I guess that's good that there was a real injury. There's always talk that sometimes teams do this, when players are on the trade market where they don't want them to get hurt. So they're like, oh, lower body injury, because you can tweak something, but you could still hold somebody out, right? So, but this seems like it actually was a thing. So,
yeah.
This picture is a perfect example of, I've seen a lot of photos of him since he arrived in Anaheim. I have not seen the dude smile since he arrived there, which is really sad to me.
I don't think it's sunk in yet.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised.
Yeah.
He really thought he was going to retire and never play for another team. I really, truly feel that way. Like,
I felt that way.
Right, and it was so sad hearing the GM talk about like the phone call with him and what he said, and he said that he was a true professional. He was very upset, I'm sure he was, but he wasn't mad or angry. He just didn't think that's how it was gonna go down. And but I mean, you guys both talked about it on your shows, getting 2 picks for a 20 game rental when there's a better than not chance that we're not making the playoffs this year. Like, and he could come back. No, I don't know because it. Do you move the whole family out there? I wouldn't, but it seems like he's going to, right? I mean, that's what
I
all the
wouldn't.
posts said.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that, but I don't know. It's
I mean, I guess if you have that kind of money, rent a place out there, move out there, see if you like it, and try it out. See if you want to move out there permanently.
aren't the kids in school though? Like that's what I
Yeah,
was
but I mean,
probably just a lot of maybe stay in a hotel even, but
yeah.
maybe have them come out.
I agree with
for
you.
a
I would have kept them
weekend.
in school, and then maybe they come
No
out for weekends.
sense
Yeah.
when you don't know what the summer is going to bring. There's no sense committing. Wait till the season finishes and then sit down and figure it out at that point. But yeah, just concentrate on getting healthy and then finish the season is all he should be thinking about. So
Right.
Well, there was an Anaheim Ducks reporter that had already asked him like, "Oh, would you consider resigning here?" And he kind of like scoffed at the reporter and was kind of like, I'm just trying to get on the plane here, like, I don't even know where I'm going yet. Like, can we just relax a bit? Like,
Yeah. So it's just God, it's so hard for him,
It's like it was and that's what I had said on my show. Like I know that's what Gil and others had said too. Like it's like it was the right move. Like if you just look at it from like a strictly like assets in, assets out, like completely cold business approach, like it was the right move. But I do worry about like the only thing that I worry about with this is that because he was kind of a unique player here in the way that like it's like Tom Wilson said, like he was kind of a North Star in the locker room. Like you do have a couple players on your team who are just like they've been there for so long and they've been such good Washington Capitals for the whole time that they've been there, and they're such leaders in the locker room and everybody loves them. And it's a guy that you never thought was going to get traded. And so there is a little bit of concern for me with like, yes, it was the right move, like from an assets in, assets out standpoint, but this could really disrupt the locker room. Like, I think that's what a lot of people are kind of overlooking is, and not just for this season, like if you mess with that, like anyone who's been on a team, anyone who's played any, team sport knows this and can attest to this. Like sometimes if you upset the apple cart just a little too much, or you take the wrong person out, it really messes things up in the locker room.
Yeah. I hate to present. I hate to. This is going to sound like I'm totally, throwing what you just said out and I'm not, because it's oh so true. But the flip side of that is it's also an opportunity for somebody who's left there to step up and be that guy. Now, you bled with Wallace, now bleed with me. That mentality. Somebody's got to step up and fill that vacuum now, and I hope somebody does. If not, they're going to have to go get a guy from without to fill that need. But just as much, I want to go back to the impact on the fans. For a lot of fans, and there's a plug for a friend of mine, another fellow podcaster, the official Caps Chirp hockey podcast. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but the guy that runs that, he's the hockey troll. He's a huge fan of Carlson. He was devastated by this. There are a lot of guys, a lot of fans out there who saw this guy almost as much as Ovechkin, even more so by some counts, as the face of the franchise, because he is an American.
He's the face of the defense for 17 years.
And 17 years. A lot of Caps fans grew up watching this guy, grew up and got old watching this guy play from all the way from the U.S. juniors, all the way through his Hershey days, all the way up to now. And when that trade that hit the morning, it was like the day the music died for them. I'm not exaggerating that. That is how that hit. And look, he wasn't my favorite player all the time, but when I saw that, I had to take 2 minutes and think, no, this is a joke. This is somebody, because the first thing, Champ, I'm glad you're on, because the first thing I saw when I woke up that morning was your message saying they traded him. Like, no, Champ's pulling my leg here, and I looked.
Don't joke about shit like that, sir.
I know, but I had to make sure. Like, yeah, no, this is a thing.
Well, I mean, it was also at 1 a.m, right? So it's kind
Yeah.
of crazy that at that. So I want to bring this hat out because it's one of my favorite hats that I've ever gotten out of the game. So I got to see a lot of great John Carlson moments over the years, and one I hadn't even realized until I was looking through box scores and old things about John Carlson in this week and thinking about, I want to remind people he's number one in points for defensive player, number one in goals for a defensive player, number one in games played 1,000 games with our franchise, right? One of the top games played, for defense or forward, in franchise history. But his first ever playoff goal, I got to see, and I got this hat at that game, and it's overlooked because in that game, Nicholas Backstrom got a hat trick to win it in overtime. But that was 2010, right? And he scored game 2 against Montreal, his very first ever playoff goal. And they end up losing that series, as we know, famously, and got halaked and all of the fun stuff. And I got to go to a couple of those games, unfortunately. But he then goes back to Hershey and wins them their cup, right? So he doesn't just quit and sulk, and and he becomes a big part of that. And that was a repeat year, Jenaya. When he started the year before, he was actually on the minor league. They brought him up for the playoffs, right? And his very first goal in basically Bears or Capitals franchise is a playoff goal for the Bears, right? And then they bring him in and stuff like that. So I mean, just legendary stuff. Won them back-to-back cups as sort of almost like an afterthought while he's learning to play in the NHL. And then he goes on to have all those incredible numbers. And so you miss and you forget about things like that. And those are such cornerstone moments for the franchise, both at our level and, Holtby was on that team, with the Bears, and a lot of those players would then go on and play for the Capitals and help us win a cup as well. So just such a team leader, and such a huge loss for the locker room. And it was tough. I was going through a lot of old goal videos and watching Ovechkin saying it's the saddest day in his career. And I mean, he's watched a lot of famous teammates leave, right? But I mean, this one is obviously the most surprising because rarely has he had somebody who he knows so closely been traded in the middle of the season. But I understand both sides of it. I think from an assets point of view, it was great. I think from a team standpoint and a fan standpoint, it sucks. And I always, because even if he leaves or he comes back, I know that we could think, oh, we won one over on them and got there. It's never going to be the same as he only ever played his career for the Capitals. Like, unfortunately, that's gone. And so I hope he comes back. Don't get me wrong, especially on a team-friendly deal. I think that it's actually going to be hard because I have to imagine that there had to have been extension talks with him during the season at some point, right? I know that Ovechkin didn't want to have them. Be hard for me to believe that they didn't have talks with Ovi and with him throughout the season at some point.
Well, from what I heard, like from the insiders up here in Canada, who are pretty good for hockey, they had reported that they did talk contract extension, or they were talking contract extension earlier in the season, and apparently Carlson was very agreeable and was gonna, he had no problem, he wasn't really asking for much, he was gonna sign a team friendly extension. The Caps started to fall out of the playoffs, and it was our management who kind of said, you know what, let's table this until the offseason, because we were kind of on our way tumbling out of the playoff picture. Mm-hmm. And so I guess that's why they kind of tabled that, because they wanted to see like, what was going to happen with this season and the trade deadline and whatnot. So I don't know if they had it like in the back of their minds from that point, like since we had started kind of falling out of the playoffs.
I gotta imagine that initial numbers were so far apart that they didn't immediately sign him, right? Because like if he's saying, I'm going to take a team-friendly deal, let's get an extension done today, they signed that, right?
Well, like, they said that the hold-up point, which seems silly to me because to me 2 years feels very reasonable. They said the hold-up point was that Carlson wanted 2 years and the team only wanted to give him 1 year. That was apparently the hold-up.
I believe that, and we should have given him 2 years. He's done
like,
so much for our franchise. Like, unless
me, that's like if that's the case, that's wild. That's silly. That's stupid. That's like he's.
And I think we might lose him because of that. Because I think that now he's going to test the free agent market. Because why wouldn't he?
And he'll get way more. He'll get way more on the open market than we would get, like than he would have signed for here. That's the thing. And like, yes, he's 36, but like it's a 2-year contract. It's not a big deal. The salary cap's going way up, and he was still almost a point per game defenseman for us this season. Like he's still a very, very, very good player. So I don't really like it. If that's true, if it was like he wanted 2 years and we only wanted to give him 1, I don't get that at all, because it's not as if we exactly have a ton of depth in terms of right-handed defensemen coming up through the pipeline. We don't have a lot there. So I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, because I think to me this waking up in the morning and getting that phone call, plus no contract extension, plus never accepting the leave, and now we don't even know if Ovechkin's going to come back, and whether or not one would impact the other. I don't know. It's just.
I think the only thing that might save us, folks who want him to come back, is the fact that his family is so settled here. Like they're so settled here. So, hopefully, that'll be enough to make it so that he comes back. But I don't know. There's always like a little bit of a. I know that Chris Patrick said that Carlson was very upset. He said he wasn't angry. He said that. He expected Carlson to be angry, but that he wasn't angry, that he understood, but that he was very upset. So you just worry about, because they're like, even if you are trying not to feel that way, subconsciously, there's probably some hard feelings there now. That's what I'm saying. I think
I don't know. But I mean, there's also a chance you lose him for nothing at the end of the season, right? And you don't make the playoffs either way. And then what do you get? I mean, that's the flip side argument, right? So it's a tough.
I guess with this player in particular, my argument would just be like it sounds like there was no chance that they would lose him for nothing, because he wanted to stay here and was willing to sign pretty cheap.
So
they just had to give him the second year.
Yeah. So then, yeah. It's not good. Not good. He'll get 2 years from somewhere. So he probably get 2 years from the Ducks, right? So it's, especially if he takes less than what he's making right now. So
I could legitimately see a team giving him 3 or 4 years on the open market just to be able to get him, because nobody's worrying about this now, because like the salary cap's going up so much. A projection just came out today from the insiders of like, people who talk to people within the NHL, that they're expecting the salary cap within 3 years to be $130 million. So
why the sudden increase? Because it had been a slow trickle out for the last couple of years.
And that was largely because of COVID, because you didn't have a whole lot of revenue coming in. But now all of that's been lifted, and I think there might have been some pressure from the Players Association. Hey, we kept our salaries down for a good while here. It's time. And I kind of like the owners kind of loosening the belt here. The markets are opening up again, and that makes for an aggressive free agent market. The problem is right now ain't a whole lot of quality unrestricted free agents out there to be had.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
Nikolai
Ehlers was
so many in the pipeline. So.
FA last year. Guess what? It ain't getting any better.
All these teams that are like, well, we have so much money to spend. It's like, great, on what? There's nobody available.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So the Capitals did end up winning the game 7-3. I'm just taking a quick look ahead so people know what's coming up. So on Wednesday, We're playing Philly again at Philly, 7:30, and then Thursday we play at Buffalo. And I just gotta say that game last night between Buffalo and Tampa Bay, I encourage anybody that's a fan of the game of hockey to go back and watch the highlights of that game. The amount of runs of goals, of 3 or more, wild stuff. You got to go check it out. It went one way, like our game tonight a little bit, but like that on steroids.
Not to mention all the penalty minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It's anyway, go check those highlights for sure. And then we get to play on the Boston again, the rematch. This time in our home on Saturday. On Pi Day, 3/14, at 3 p.m. because those weekend middle of the afternoon against Boston games go so well for us.
But not nationally televised, thank goodness.
Oh, good. It's one of the things that are taken out of that. So we'll definitely, next week is going to be our 10-year special, and we will obviously recap all of those. Jenaya, any final thoughts on the upcoming schedule or anything at all? And then hopefully we'll still get you in maybe before the end of the season, towards the flip side, maybe for the very last episode of their season. But I know that you've been doing some great stuff. I'm excited that you're in the live podcasting market now. But let people know some of your final thoughts.
Yeah, we'll see how the rest of the season goes. I don't really know what we should be hoping for at this point in terms of is it better to actually win these games or lose them at this point? But I don't know. I'm kind of the type of fan that it's hard for me to ever actively cheer for the team to lose, even if it's for a better draft pick or whatever. I want to see them win. So I'm happy with the win tonight. I hope that they can get some points out of these games that are upcoming. I'm worried for Cheryl Ann going to that game against Colorado.
Yeah.
I pray for her in that one because
but they love the Avs too, so I feel like maybe that's a win-win game for them. So that's good at least. But
that's good. Yeah. Avalanche were actually my second favorite team since I was a kid too. So I actually have one Avalanche jersey as well. But it's they're definitely my favorite Western Conference team. But
what are you going to do if the Avs play the Ducks? Because I've heard that you're now adopting the Ducks, as am I at this point. But what would you do?
I could not lose in that scenario because, I love the Avalanche, but I'm definitely going to be cheering for Johnny with the Ducks for sure. So, I'm excited to see what he can do with Anaheim if they can make a little bit of a run. I think they've got a good chance to make a run because they're in that Pacific Division, which is just garbage. So, I think that they have a pretty good shot to at least go to the Western Conference final.
Yeah, he got himself in a good spot. I'm happy for him in that regard that he didn't get relegated to something,
I saw a really funny tweet that was because when the trade went down, the Capitals and the Ducks had the same amount of standings points. And so it was 69 points in the Metropolitan Division versus 69 points in the Pacific Division. This is what it gets you.
Right. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, none of those Pacific Division teams would even be in a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference, which is pretty crazy and probably a great example of why they need to redo the playoff format because that is ridiculous to have those three teams being in and all these teams in the East being out. But that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. I don't even know how you solve that. But I always liked the Ducks just because of historically the movies and that was my childhood. So it'll be easy to root for them for sure. There have been times in the past where I've rooted for the Sharks as well, and I do like some of their new players. But I'll definitely now root for the Ducks, especially if they're going to play against Vegas, right? So that's an easy one.
And I'm especially if they're playing against the Oilers because I hate them. So
right, exactly, yeah. I've always rooted for the Oilers just because my friend Adrian is a fan, but I know that your hatred is well documented of the Oilers. But it's
Oilers and Leafs.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's funny because the two most hated teams for you are actually my two favorite Canadian teams, but it's
it's because you don't live in Canada.
It's because I don't live in Canada. 100%. Yeah. So, and 100% because of Adrian, who, like, when I was growing up, like, my friend who loved hockey, like, those were his two favorite Canadian teams. And so I was like, all right, I'll root for them because we're rooting for the Capitals. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Man, Steve Dangle, poor guy. Like, what a rough. I've been watching his, like, videos. Like, you think we have a tough time, like, watching, I mean, oof, some bad stuff. And then, man, like, I was, for a long time rooting for Canada, like right in the Olympics, and man, watching him do that last episode was brutal. Like he called it the toll, right? It's very dramatic, and like this is the toll that we have to take for future greatness for Canada. And but I'm like, oof, that is a brutal watch. But like
He probably thought
250,000
that
people
was
watched it, so.
he probably thought that was the one time that he was going to get to finally see a win at an important time.
Yep.
Because he never gets to see that with the Leafs.
Turns out it doesn't matter the color of the maple leaf, right? For him, like it's just it's gonna lose. So, all right. Any final thoughts before I let you go?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, still me.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, I feel like I actually kind of like we had a banter, but I feel like I want you to be able to shout out whatever you want to shout out as well.
Yeah, no, I'll just, I guess, tell people where to find me. I've got the YouTube channel, which is under this name here, JenayaTalksCaps. I've been doing the post-game reaction videos after every Capitals game, and then the podcast as well. And as Robbie said, I tried out live streaming for this last one, which was super, super fun. I couldn't believe how many like comments and stuff came in. It was a lively chat over there. So, and I think the video's got like over 150 views now. So it did really well. So I'll probably continue with that at least for some of the episodes. And it's a lot of fun over there. So if you want, you can follow me, subscribe on YouTube, Jenaya Talks Caps. I've got the Facebook page too under the same name, Jenaya Talks Caps, which is where I post everything. So you can find all of the post-game reaction videos and the podcast over there.
Yeah, for sure. I loved it. I definitely think maybe like a monthly thing because there is some dynamic that when you two just get into the conversation and when you're with a guest, because I do agree, and that's why I struggle because chat is chatting during this, and I do want to address them, and I really appreciate all the comments coming in, but like I don't read all of them because I'm doing a live podcast. But there are times I wish that I would read all of the comments and do that, but it's hard to engage with other people and do that. So it's a
I had
balance,
been like, I'm like,
right?
oh, I'll read them all out live on air. You guys send me your comments, whatever. And
Right.
I didn't expect like 50 comments to come in. So then
Right, there you go. You never know.
I think it was about maybe like an hour in or so we were finished with the actual episode. And then the last like half hour, 40 minutes was just us like interacting with the chat.
Which I think is great. And maybe that's an answer too, is that you like have your conversation at the beginning and then you have like a Q&A with fans at the end, so like that could be a solution as well, because then you've been live longer so you can draw in more comments, because that's the thing with live is often at the very beginning, like you're not going to get a lot. And at times I feel bad for Gil, like you did it early and I was busy, but I got to be in Jenaya's chat live. I definitely think for live shows like this, skewing later is probably better, just because people are able to like get on. And I feel like the sweet spot when we were like 7 to 10 for this show, I feel like we got the most comments ever, right? Like now we're 9 to midnight, which is great, but like less than that. So I feel like that's a good time, especially for the East Coasters that are like wanting to like comment and engage with people and stuff like that. But I'm so happy you both gave it a try, right? Because I feel like it's nerve-wracking. There's all these things. There's all these good things and bad and difficult and stuff like that. But like, you can only work through it and get better at it by trying it. It's one of those things. It's like it's a skill that you have to like develop. And so I'm happy that
it's
we've
funny
gotten
for me
inspired
because
by it a little bit.
I'm like it is nerve-wracking in the sense that like because me, I'm not shy at all. Like I can talk. Like I don't care how many people I'm in front of. Like I'm not shy at all in that way. But I'm not very comfortable with like stuff like that I haven't tried before, like technology wise, like when I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know like where the buttons are and what I'm trying to press. And so like actually at the beginning of the live stream, like I had told people like, write in with your comments, whatever. And then I completely forgot about the comments for the first.
That's what happens.
hour.
It's called streamer brain. Like you have all these great ideas, but you can only actually do some of them, right?
Yeah.
So like, and what your brain actually prioritizes versus what you think your brain's going to prioritize ahead of time isn't always the same thing, right? So, and there's a lot of other variables, who's joining you, their conversation, getting you engaged with their talk, or the chat gets lively and stuff like that. So, and it's a work in progress. I mean, last week I had screwed up and I had an audio feed bleeding in for like 20 minutes of our conversation, which ruined that whole audio. I didn't, I had set it all correctly too. And then it refreshed at some point. Like I must have clicked a button and not even seen it. And then it undid the mute, right? So but I didn't know that because I have it set to only be listening to you guys and not that computer over there, right? So that's what I was that's my point though, is you could do all the things right and still something random like trip you up, right? So
that's what I was most nervous about was the audio. That's why I had asked you, I'm like, hey,
I know, and I felt bad because I didn't see it until after I'd already joined. I was like, well, at least I confirmed it by being there and not saying anything. So yeah, for sure. But I think it's great, and I encourage you to keep trying and keep trying new things. You never know. Like we wouldn't have gotten here 10 years later, right? Without trying, a couple of new ideas here and there. So you got to keep on making it fun and exciting for yourself too. It becomes a whole new challenge and a whole new skill set that you can get, right? So
yeah, it was a lot of fun. But a lot of fun and definitely different than like just recording it and then posting it.
Right. And sometimes I think there's better energy sometimes too. Like sometimes it's hard to like get up for it, but if you have a live audience, even of one or two people, there's like a natural adrenaline that comes from that. So, well, anyway, everyone should go check out that podcast and also all of her post-game reactions. Jenaya and I have been friends for a long time on this and on Facebook on all different platforms, but definitely go check her out on all platforms, and hopefully we'll get her on before the end of the Caps season, or a retrospective, I guess. Either way,
eulogy.
Yeah, eulogy, exactly. When Ovechkin comes on, we could just all cry. Like when he makes that decision.
Oh my God, we're probably gonna have to. I hadn't even thought about that. We're probably gonna have to do that episode soon.
Yeah. So. So bring the tissues for season 11. Anyway, that's we'll deal with that bridge when that comes, but will have to happen. So
that will be the saddest I have ever been in hockey ever by far.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's no whatever day that's basically what I decided with this show is this show will run until at least that happens, right? Because I wanted to cover at least his last 10 years, 11 years, hopefully 15 years of his career. But we'll see how it goes at the end of the season. I feel like my gut is maybe they should just sign him and Carlson to 2 more years and just be done with it. I would be happy with that, right? And they could both sign team-friendly deals for $4 million each. Right, $8 million for both. We're in for 2 years.
This was the initial report. Was that it wasn't just about Carlson. It was that they both were going to sign team friendly, short term, extremely team friendly cap hit contracts, so that the team could add a lot and really go for it for a year or two.
We'll see.
But, I don't know.
We'll see what happens. It could still happen. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Jenaya. I appreciate it as always, and we'll talk to you soon.
And, thank you so much for having me. Sorry I was a little bit late. It was a little bit hectic. But,
no, you're good. No, you just missed a scoring recap, so I think it was all good. So it worked out perfect. So
yeah, I didn't need to see those shorthanded goals, so that's fine.
Yeah, well, we didn't show those, so fortunately, C4 did not record those. Thank you, C4. So
thank God.
Yeah. All right, Gil. Any final thoughts from you before we let you go?
So real quick, did anybody catch the leitmotif with all the videos that I created? If not, I will run through them. So the first one was a quote from Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade. That should give it away right there. And then, of course, the 2 Star Wars references. And the last one, Johnny the Duck. So what do we got? All Lucas movies. George Lucas movies was the leitmotif.
Oh, nice. I like it. Yeah, I like George Lucas movies. The Duck one I did not get, but the Star Wars, I love both Star Wars things. So.
Howard the Duck wasn't exactly his crowning achievement,
yes,
and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Nah, Howard the Duck was good. You're bugging.
All right, Gil, give a quick shout out to your podcast before we let you go.
So Power Play Point podcast. We ride again after the Olympic break. The Mermaid will not be with us next week. I do have a fill-in co-host, but of course we have a wide open door policy. We plan on recording a little later in the evening, around 6:30-ish in the evening Eastern time. Wide open. You want to join us? We'll send you the link if you are interested. But yeah, as always, we're looking to have different voices on, new voices. If you've never been on, love to hear from you. I'm sure, again, I can't say this enough. I'm sure you have an opinion on, especially after what we just saw tonight, an opinion of how the Caps are playing, what they're doing, what they should be doing, and what they're not doing. So we would love to hear from you. Please do contact us. We're on Facebook. I'm on Twitter at BLULINER98. Contact me that way as well. I don't care. I'll give out my personal email here too. GLHALLOWED at yahoo.com. Contact me there as well. We want to get you on the show. We still try to make the Caps fan the star. So that's the big thing. We want to get you on and hear from you. Yeah, that's it. But going to recap these 4 games next week and go from there.
Sounds good. Definitely go check out Gil. Often Anna is on. She's not going to be on this week, but definitely go check out and be a part of Gil's show too. I've been on for many different seasons throughout the years, and it's always a fun time to talk hockey over there with him. Next week, we're going to have the return of Gil and Anna both on to celebrate 10 years of hockey and recap some of those games as well. So thank you, Gil, and we will talk to you next week.
All right. Night, everybody.
All right, later.
Good night.
All right, with that, we're going to do a switching of the guards. We got Ken, DC's People's Champ, and we also got Dan, the Sith Lord, as well. Let's talk about, we can start off with the wrestling, because it just ended a great episode of Raw with a lot of storylines moving along, and Champ, I'll start with you. Judgment Day finally imploding is obviously a big storyline. What were some of your thoughts on that and some of the other big storylines that happened tonight on the show?
First and foremost, we knew it was coming. They slow burned it for so long, so we knew it was coming. But clearly, it was like a medium rare state. It got right to the perfect temperature for them to make the move and have Finn finally be like, I'm done with this crap. But then the Judgment Day turned around and said, no, we're done with your shit. I think it's going to set up for Dom versus Finn at WrestleMania. And I don't mind that at all, because I think that's going to be a really good matchup. And it'd be great to get Finn back as a face, because, he brought back his old music, which everybody loves. And I think it's perfect. I mean, the Judgment Day can still do their thing. With just the 4 of them, they still can do their thing and everything like that. Liv is still going after the women's world championship and everything like that. So I don't see why they can't, have them be heels without having Finn in the fold. So I like the fact that they pulled the trigger here, because then again, it's sudden. They slow burned it for a long time, but now here we are with it finally happening.
Do you think Dalhousen can get the beast out of him or something? I think that'd be kind of a funny, curse him and then he comes out.
Well, he's already cursed Dom, and Dom lost the IC title, and so I'm sure that if he curses any other members of the judge, let him curse Liv so Stephanie can retain in WrestleMania. Let him curse Raquel so Raquel can't do shit. I mean, just curse all of the Judgment Day.
Can he do the opposite of cursing? Can he enable powers of because that would be cool if he could summon the demon inside.
No. That's not how Danhausen. He's very well. I mean, he may, because his tagline, he's very nice, very evil.
Yeah, I know, very nice, very. I like that. And then it could be part of the curse still happening, to Mysterio. So I don't know.
You might be onto something. I mean, him cursing Mysterio again could bring out the demon Finn Balor at WrestleMania. That would get me a huge pop. I'll pop huge for that one.
Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, lots of other great storylines pushed along as well. Sith, what were some of your favorite moments of tonight?
First up, the gauntlet match was absolutely a lot of fun. I can understand why the crowd was tired out. Most crowds don't do well with gauntlet matches, so after a while they kind of like level out a bit, but then they come back to life, towards the end, which is what happened here. Rusev, I said in our group chat, as well as one that happened sports on the hip with no spots. Rusev right now is talking to people in the back saying, yeah, this kid's good. This kid's good. Overall, this was a really good show. I like how they slow burned Finn breaking away from the Judgment Day. They did it, as Champ put it, you got to stay to a perfect medium rare. Okay, serve it out. I know that people wanted this to happen sooner, but sometimes it's about the story on how the journey takes you down the road. And with some things, it works out good. With slow burn, this one did. Absolutely. As Samir would say, don't be a microwave fan. Wait for the story to build out. Well, okay, the story built out. The catalyst was last Monday night when, hey, let's interfere. No, let him handle it on its own. He said he's going to do it on his own. On his own. Was I surprised that JD turned on him? No, because Jordan Devlin is what we called him back in the UK, always works better as a methodical evil heel. So y'all are about
I
to
was
see.
kind of surprised because I always thought they were buddy. So that's why that moment did surprise me. I guess because I always thought that he was more of a fan of Finn than of Mysterio. But based on how they came out and all that sort of stuff. So
Finn actually was one of the mentors of Jordan Devlin back before Jordan Devlin became what he is now. So this was a case of the student turning on the teacher, which is one of my favorite story angles that you can have in wrestling, is where the student turns against the teacher. We see it so many times. Several years ago, we saw Seth turning against Triple H after, Trips is like, oh, I need to find the next Seth Rollins and all that stuff, whole 9 yards. So overall, this was a really good Raw. Also like the closing angle with Punk and the Usos. And although Punk was spitting facts, and he was, don't get it twisted, I can understand where the Usos came from. Because despite everything that Roman did to them, Roman is still their family.
Right.
I hate to say that, to use a God reference here, it's a lot like Tom Hagen's relationship with Michael Corleone. Michael put Tom through the ringer. But no matter how bad it got, Tom was still loyal to Michael. No matter what.
One thing I really liked the imagery of the Usos coming out at the beginning and the end of this episode. They didn't have to have necessarily like a match per se, but like they came out and helped LA Knight at the very beginning, which I always like because I just anyway. I'm a big fan of LA Knight, and any opportunity to have him come in and whoop some ass, I always like, right? So, and then have them come in at the end as well. I thought that was like a really good bookend. And I don't know, for me, I really like how they've been producing these Raw episodes more than the SmackDown. It just feels more like a slog where I feel excited and the pacing seems better with these Raws. I don't know, Champ, do you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, with SmackDown being 3 hours, it can be a really slog trying to watch 3 hours of wrestling and things like that. Whereas with Raw, they've gotten into that zone where it's between 2 and 2.5 hours. Like this week's episode was around 2 hours and 15, a little over 2 hours and 15 minutes. It didn't quite hit 2.5 hours, but they found that sweet spot when it comes to the length of a show where they're able to fit in as much as possible, but without having to go too long and make it sort of a slog. Like with this one, like Sif just mentioned, the gauntlet match, and he gave me the times in the group chat, 37 minutes for the gauntlet match, which was pretty much the majority of the
perfect though.
first
it really
hour.
kept going. I thought it was like the pacing of the gauntlet, because sometimes a 30 like that long of a match could feel like it's getting stale, but it was, I don't know, I thought they had really good pacing with that. But I think that what you just said there, the variable with the time, I think is exciting. You don't know when the episode's going to end, right? So like,
Yep.
I think that there's something really, that's one of the things I love about live sports. Right? It's a hockey game. I turn it on. I don't know it's going to be 2.5 hours. Maybe it's 3. Maybe it goes to overtime. Maybe it doesn't. Right? And I think there's something really exciting about that. Seth, what are your thoughts?
Thing about watching a live show, whether it's hockey, basketball, baseball, or even pro wrestling, is for example, Monday Night Raw. They found that sweet spot between 2 to 2.5 hours. Usually it's about 2 hours and 20 minutes for runtime for an episode of Raw before they edit it down out of the ad breaks a week after it airs on Netflix. And we're going to get to the runtime of the NXT event in a few minutes, where I did just added up the match times, threw aside everything else. And honestly, if you ask me right now on paper, which was better paced, which kept my attention all the way through, it was Raw. Whereas NXT held my attention better than SmackDown did. And the thing is, even with me watching SmackDown on a VPN without ads, you feel every bit of those 3 hours watching it on a VPN as you would watching it on USA Network. When I watch NXT on a weekly basis, AEW on a weekly basis, or Raw, I don't have that drawn out feeling. I'm like, this was really, really cool.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. For me, it's exciting because sometimes it is 2 hours and 15 minutes, but sometimes they have like a championship match at the end of Raw, and then it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Like it's an extra like 20 minutes more, like so like they have these moments, sort of these big dramatic moments where it becomes almost like a PLE, right? And I think that that's exciting that you don't know when that dramatic moment's going to happen, and I think that that's really exciting too. I'm going to let you guys talk about NXT for a second. I'm going to run and refill my water, but I'll just let you guys rock and roll, and I'll be right back.
I got it here. So NXT held their first PLE of the year. It was NXT Vengeance Day. Typically, their PLEs take place on the road in a different city, but this time, this PLE took place at the Performance Center. There were only 5 matches on the card, 2 championship matches and 3 grudge matches. And we live reacted to it on our Kick, Twitch, and our Facebook. So we want to thank people, mostly Hector, for joining us for our live reactions. But one of the critiques that I had, and Sif kind of confirmed it to me when he gave me the actual runtime of the matches when you take away video packages and ad breaks. And it felt to me like this PLE was extremely rushed. And it was like, how can you rush a PLE that's on a streaming platform with no time limit in a building that you own? And it was really, really strange to me that this PLE went so fast and things like that. Like nothing was drawn out, which can sometimes be a good thing and sometimes can be a bad thing, but nothing was really drawn out. A lot of the matches didn't go a really lengthy period of time. And it just felt rushed. It felt really, really rushed. And I'm not a big fan of that. On the flip side, it's not like AEW, which goes on for like 15 million hours. And you feel every minute of that long runtime of an AEW pay-per-view. But at the same time, I grew up, and Sith can attest to this. We both grew up where pay-per-views were between 2.5 to 3 hours. Point blank, period. No matter what, a pay-per-view was at minimum 2.5 hours, at max maybe 3.5 hours, except if it's a WrestleMania, like WrestleMania 19, where it was like 5+ hours, and everybody in MetLife Stadium was just like, what are we doing with ourselves sitting here for this freaking long for a show? But it was just it was very strange how fast they went through these 5 matches. Sith will give you the runtime that he was able to calculate from the match times from all 5 matches and tell you how long this PLE went. Sith, if you please.
Matches alone. Now, this is removing all the promo segments and promotions and ad breaks. 58 minutes and 21 seconds is your complete runtime. And Champ, I'm going to ask you this. Did this not feel like a basic Tuesday night early on the CW when they're rushing towards the end to end it by 9:58 for that cutoff to go to local programming, where there'd be like the news out in your neck of the woods or me in that 2 episodes of Seinfeld? It felt that rushed. I felt like even on in rewatch it was worse actually. I'm like, there's no need to keep rushing through this. I think that Monday Night Raw has found the middle ground of rushing things through or making you feel like you're sitting through a whole shitload of wrestling. AEW, I'll give them this. Yes, their pay-per-views are 4 hours plus. I'm hoping that it stops at 4 hours this Sunday. But what I'm going to say here makes sense, though. With AEW, you're getting bang for your buck. Okay, where it comes, because it's something Champ and I say every time AEW, they always bring it. There's only been 1, maybe 2 pay-per-views in the short history of AEW where they haven't hit. Everything else is hit. I can't say that for the early WWF because WrestleMania 1 is fine. 2 is a drastic step down. 3 is awesome. But 4, Champ and I rewatched WrestleMania 4. That was a sloth to sit through.
Ugh.
So
don't ever ask me to watch that pay-per-view ever again.
No, oh, hell no. Someone asked me today if we could rewatch it, and I said, absolutely not. No. I said, Champ and I are not going to waste our time on that pay-per-view ever again if we have any choice in it.
I will say this. For that pay-per-view, you got to pay us to watch that again. I'm dead ass. Exactly. You got to pay us to rewatch that bullshit. And I'm being serious.
I'm dead ass serious too. Just like I tell people, you got to pay me to watch Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. Y'all need to pay us $5,000 a piece to rewatch WrestleMania 4.
Yeah, dead ass. Robbie, you're back. You missed the math that Sith gave for the matches and the runtime for NXT Vengeance Day. Sith, give him that number again, bro.
Robbie, hear me out, bro. You ready?
Yeah.
You take out all the promo segments, all the promotions, all the ad breaks. The matches alone have a complete runtime. 58 minutes, 21 seconds.
Wow.
That's very quick for a pay-per-view, a PLE that's in their own building on a platform that has no time limit, being Peacock, and it's the last PLE that's streaming on Peacock for the foreseeable future because that contract ends this week. Well, next week actually. It's on Saturday. I'm sorry, it's on Saturday.
Where do theirs go to Netflix or does it go to ESPN?
No one knows. A report I read earlier today said that it's mixed. They were hoping for Peacock, but no one knows right now. And this is not a good situation to be in because checking my calendar real quick, we are let's see here. The 4th is coming on 25 days from now. You have NXT Stand and Deliver. And if a deal is not reached between now and the 4th of April, and I'm sure there will be a deal, whether it be Netflix, ESPN, or Renew the Peacock, but you're going to be shutting out one of your key audiences for the biggest event of NXT of the year, arguably.
Yeah, it's their WrestleMania.
Yeah. I mean, it's their version of WrestleMania. And the only reason why it's moved off of WrestleMania this year, and it's understandably so, is because you're asking a lot of talent to attend the Hall of Fame, catch a cat nap, then be at the arena at 2, 3 in the morning for, to go on call, to go through catering and all the preparing to get ready to do a pay-per-view at 9 o'clock, or like 9, 10 in the morning. You're asking a lot. And also the fact that Vegas is very expensive right now. And the NXT talent don't make that much money
to
afford Vegas and whatnot. So
shit.
Oh, what's up, champ?
No, I'm watching Team USA versus Mexico in the WBC. Team USA was up 5-0 through like 4 or 5 through like
what
5
is that
innings.
On?
It's on Fox.
Oh shit, I should put that on. Thank you.
They were up 5-0 at one point, but now Mexico is slowly bringing it back. It's now 5-3. Durant just hit a towering solo shot in the top of the 8th to make it a 5-3 ball game. So Mexico's still in it. And basically this game right here, the winner of this game, and I'm going to go through this even more when we talk about the World Baseball Classic, but the winner of this game is guaranteed to come out of Pool C and go into the quarterfinals because it's 3 teams tied at the top of Pool C. Team USA, Mexico, and Italy. And they play each other over the next couple of days. Right now, Team USA is playing Mexico. They have Italy, I believe, on tomorrow. They have Italy tomorrow. If Team USA can win this game against Mexico and Italy tomorrow, they finish the pool undefeated and they're in the quarterfinals, whereas Mexico and Italy, when they play each other later in the week, that game will determine who else will go in because it's the top two teams in each pool that moves on to the quarterfinals, and then it goes from round robin to knockout at that point, and it starts this weekend. But yeah, that's why I was reacting to was that towering home run to bring it to within 2 here. So, and Paul Skeens pitched a really good game, only gave up 1 hit in 4 innings and struck out 7 in 4 innings. And it'll only be his only start in the World Baseball Classic because a report came out saying he's going to travel back to Pittsburgh Pirates training camp and rejoin the Pirates for training camp. He's not going to pitch the rest of the World Baseball Classic.
Wow.
Okay. And I want both of y'all, I already know what Champ feels like about this, but Robbie, I want your reaction plus the chat's reaction to this. Mm-hmm. Friday night, when Champ and I previewed Vengeance Day, it started with a B. My spontaneous grade at the end of the reactions was a B+. Right now, the final grade is hovering between a B- and a C+ because of how, even though I enjoyed the matches, the rushed feeling really takes the air out of the room where it comes to those matches because you didn't allow them to breathe. Instead, what you did was you just went rapid fire. As Champ said, this was like almost like watching an AEW show where Champ and I are used to AEW running rapid fire for 4 hours, and it goes by pretty quickly. Because of that, NXT usually allows their events to breathe. This didn't happen.
Interesting. I wanted to get Sith. Do you want to talk about any of the football moves?
I just want to say one thing before I drop out of here and leave it up to you, toss it up to you guys for the night. Note to fans, I understand we did not come out of the gate the way that you had in your fantasy GM brains. But newsflash, we don't have the same ownership that we did, and thank God for that, 4 years ago. We don't. Y'all need to settle down and let Peters and company go, because this is getting ridiculous. We all have turned the term microwave fans. Y'all turned to a bunch of armchair GMs, and because, oh God, we didn't get the big names off the board immediately, we're a failure.
Interesting.
We tried getting the big names off the boards immediately during Dan Snyder's tenure, and how'd that work out? Not very well.
See Albert Hainsworth.
Right.
Thank you.
So
Right
H-Rod's been
there.
in chat saying, "Don't tell me that. I don't want to change it and break mom's heart." Talking about this U.S. game, but he also thought it was a win in, and he was it was so rushed by Barry Allen would be jealous. But he also said that Max Crosby went from one hell to another with this trade. I actually think that it's the missing piece that the Ravens really needed. I feel like it's not the same thing as saying he was in Oakland, by a long shot. I feel like. I'm excited about what the Ravens are building there. I'm very curious. Yeah, that's what they like. Don't you think, Champ? That was really what they were missing. Was that?
Yeah, I mean, we all know that the Ravens, since they became the Baltimore Ravens from Indianapolis, the original Cleveland Browns, they were always known for their defense. That's how they won a Super Bowl, was with their defense. So of course, you want to go and get one of the best pass rushers in the game, and Max Crosby, to go back to that prominence of a like very feared defense. And the only way you can do that is to get that one piece that's going to make your defense one of the most feared. Because over the last at least 5 so years, and maybe Tim might be able to shed some more light on it next week when we talk to him, but that Baltimore Ravens defense hasn't been the same since their prominent days in the early 2000s. So I think now with a move like this, nice strikeout, by the way, on a slider, lefty on lefty slider. Yeah, that's devastating. But when you look back on that, on the last couple of years, their defense hasn't been there. So you add a piece like this, I think that defense is definitely about to start to emerge. And I think Baltimore was kind of, I think that was the piece that was missing from them. Even though they made a really good run towards the playoffs, they eventually didn't make it, but they made a good run at it. And I think that if they have that defense showing up, I think they make the playoffs, and I think that they would make a pretty decent run in the playoffs, honestly. So I think this is a good move. I don't think it's him going from one hell to another. I think it's him going from hell to being the catalyst of reviving that feared Baltimore defense.
And what a cool opportunity to be like a leader of this defense and to go over there and try to help them figure it out. And I don't know, I'm excited for their future with the coaching situation and the sort of a fresh start for that team that desperately, I think, needed it. They were just, they were close, but they just weren't making that final push. And and I love the coach, and I'm kind of mad in some ways that the Giants got him, right? Because I think that he's better than who they've had. But I'm the other thing about the Max Crosby thing that's the most important thing is it kept him away from the Cowboys, who are the second in the running for getting him. So it's kind of like a double win.
I'm so happy he went to Baltimore because I would not want for Jayden to have to deal with his ugly ass twice a year for the next 3-4 years.
Right. So for me, that was the biggest part. Is he's not only he goes to my second favorite team, but he also goes away from the team that I hate the most. So that is key. But Seth, any final thoughts before we let you get out?
The Basement this coming Sunday. 40 cold comedies from the 80s and 90s, worst to best, where you only have 2 or 3 movies at the bottoms that are decent. Everything else is good, great to superb. You've got stuff like Mallrats, Clerks. You've got stuff like Friday, you've got Army of Darkness, but you also have some 80s films as well mixed in. And so I'm doing comedies this time around, which ought to be a lot of fun. And then the following week, I'm doing the mega tier list, which is going to be 7 weeks long, where a couple of weeks ago, I did full franchises. Now it's the individual films. So with week 1, it's the original films. Second week, part 2, so on and so forth. We're going to start off with 36 franchises, ranging the gauntlet of drama, comedy, sci-fi, horror, action. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm listening. I'm listening to that episode, because if Friday's not your top 10, me and you gonna have issues.
It's in my top 20.
That doesn't say much. We're gonna still have issues if it's not in your top 10. I'm just telling you, listen, I'm telling you right now, we're recording episode 324 this Saturday.
Right.
The basement goes up before. Okay, so I'm not gonna be able to listen to the basement this Sunday, because you're gonna most likely have to do Revolution by yourself, because the Fight Club show that got postponed because of the impending winter weather that ended up not happening got postponed to this Sunday. So we're
not going to do Revolution then.
Okay, perfect. So just know I'm going to be listening to that episode when I get a chance. And if Friday's not your top 10, as soon as the podcast episode 325 starts, I'm getting in your ass.
Well, you know who I'm getting at this Saturday, though? Y'all, I saw the remake of The Bride, which is like the third or fourth remake of it. I didn't think we could make the 1985 version of The Bride look good. We almost did.
No, it wasn't good.
This was rough. And that's really sucked. It really sucks, because I love Maggie Gyllenhaal as a director. She's directed one other film, and I love her as an actress, and her brother Jake. I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah.
But this is a movie where it just takes too many swings, and it just misses for me. I'm deciding on a grade for it. It's going to be a decent grade, because some things did work, but a lot of things had me going, the fuck did I just watch?
And if you missed the podcast this week, he gave a very scathing grade for the mortuary assistant. In other words, in his eyes, it should have stayed as a video game and not as a movie.
Yeah. Champ, tell them the grade.
0 out of 5.
Oh.
And the last time I did that was 2 movies back in 2023. Fear, which came out in my birthday month, which is independent horror where you couldn't buy anything that was going on. And then a film that kicked off a franchise that's gotten a little bit better, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. So it's rare that we get 0 out of 0. Matter of fact, we get more 5 out of 5s than we do 0 out of 0. But 0 out of 5. But, champs, this should have stayed a video game. This wasn't as bad as Super Mario Brothers back in '93.
Yeah.
But still, this was a sloth.
I'm so excited about the new animated movie, though. Like, my son and I are like counting down the days. We
want to see the new Mario Brothers movie. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think we may see it opening day. I mean, we're that invested. I mean, like, Mario's his life. Like, you know, like I feel like, and I'm going away on vacation like 2 days later, so I'm like, we gotta see it before I leave. He'll never like let me see the end of it. So,
be excellent to each other as usual.
Right.
Robbie, so Champ, thank you very much, and also shout out to Gil and Sedana for earlier. Good stuff, guys. And I will talk to you guys later.
All right, later. Thank you.
See you.
All right. So, Champ, we're going to talk a couple different things. Do you want to talk about... Why don't we talk about the moves that the Commanders have made, since let's go to the breaking news first, and then maybe we can talk DC United after that, and then end with the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah. Well, so the Commanders... So, basically, the legal tampering period started at 12 noon today, the day that this is going up. And Commanders made some really good moves in free agency, which won't be official until Wednesday when the new league year starts. One of the big moves they made was getting former Chargers pass rusher Odafe Owe. They got him for 4 years at $100 million. Now, one of the knocks on the Commanders was that the defense was one of the oldest in terms of average age in the league. And so they were pretty slow. And so that's what led to the defense sort of regressing in 2025, leading to that 5-12 record and a top 10 draft pick that's coming up in next month. So they went and they shored that up with getting Owe for 4 years and $100 million. They also brought back a former 5th round pick that they had back in 2018 in Tim Settle. Settle had spent some time in Buffalo and just recently was with Houston. They brought him back for 3 years at $24 million, but the contract is worth up to $25.5 million with incentives. Again, he was a 2018 5th round pick when they were the Redskins. They also re-signed Laramie Tunsil, who they brought in a trade last year. They re-signed him for 2 years at $60.2 million. So they've at least shorn up the left side of their offensive line, keeping him. They also re-signed Andrew Wiley for 2 years at $7.5 million, but with incentives, that contract could be worth up to $10.5 million, and he could play either guard, he could play most likely a left guard or something like that. They also re-signed Marcus Mariota. He'll stay as QB2 for the Commanders. He'll stay for another year at $7 million. They also made another big move in their defensive side, getting Amik Robertson, who was last with the Detroit Lions. They signed him to a 2-year deal worth $16 million. So you could have him out there more like a nickel corner or convert Sam Ristel to a nickel corner as well. But you could have a really talented, young, quick secondary out there so you can eliminate some of the big plays and make some solid plays on the defensive side with Owe, being that pass rusher and everything like that. So they made that move. And then they also re-signed Tress Way for another year. Tress Way's been our MVP for like God knows how long.
He's my favorite. I still have a 5 hung up in this room that is a McNabb jersey, but I flipped it around just because I love Tress Way so much. And I know that he then gave up the number, but but I have it since then because of how much I love Tress Way, right?
Right, yeah. Well, he's back for another year. So is Dietrich Wise and Shai Tuttle. So more shoring up that defensive line and getting younger on the defensive line so you could get more pressure on the quarterback and really disrupt a lot of these quarterbacks, especially when you're in the NFC East dealing with Jackson Dart twice a year, Jalen Hurts twice a year, and Dak Prescott twice a year. You definitely need a young defensive line, a young front seven to be able to deal with those mobile quarterbacks who can really kill you with their legs as well as their arm, and also be able to stop the run, dealing with Cam Scatterboo and Saquon Barkley. They also gave a 1-year contract extension to Nick Allegretti, which is a good thing because they released Tyler Biadasz, who's been there a long time, their center for the last couple of years. So Allegretti, with him getting an extension, he could most likely slot in as the starting center for that offensive line, and you could go that route. They also, the Marshawn Lynch experiment ended in a whimper as he got released, but the good thing with the release is not a good thing that someone loses their job, but the good thing for the team is that it saves them $18.5 million in the salary cap, which they already had plenty of room in the salary cap coming into this free agency, but making this release adds more space so that they can make the moves that they can make right now, but also plan for the future. Because remember, Jayden Daniels is about to enter his 3rd year in the league. He's still got 1 more year plus most likely an option year. So he's got 2 more years theoretically before it's time to, re-up him. and keep him as the franchise quarterback. And you want to make sure that you have the cap space to be able, because remember, the quarterback market is very, very high in terms of price per year. And so you want to make sure that you have the space to do so. But Washington definitely making some moves already before the league year even starts with, and most of those moves have to do with either on the defensive side of the ball in the front seven, or on the offensive line, which had some pretty significant issues during this season. So it'll be interesting to see what other moves the Commanders make once the league year begins in a couple of days, and see what they do with that. I believe they had the 7th pick in the draft coming up in April. It'll be interesting to see where they go in the draft. And it'll be interesting to see if they go out and try to get a receiver to try to get themselves back to a good offensive place, especially with a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator. It'll be interesting to see what this team is able to do.
Yeah. It's weird to root for Bryce Harper again, like...
Let me show you something. I
was wondering if that's what it was. So, yeah.
I still have my Bryce Harper Nats jersey, even though he ain't been a Nat for like years, but I still got it.
And then we got Kyle Schwarber coming up right after him.
Kyle Schwarber. Phillies back-to-back in the lineup. That's crazy.
Yeah, so anyway, we're still up 5-3. There's 2 outs, the bottom of the 8th here in a big game against Mexico. We need to win this, and
a win here, and they're in the quarterfinals, basically, because they'll hold a win over Mexico because they're tied and everything like that, and so they'll be in.
Well, Italy's still undefeated, so if Italy won out, maybe, I don't know.
Well, basically the scenario is, because I looked at the standings, this Pool C and Pool D, the quarterfinalists from those 2 pools are already set, but Pool A and Pool B, they're still figuring it out with these last couple of games. But basically, for the Team USA, if they beat Mexico, they have a game up on Mexico, so they're automatically in. It'll just be the game tomorrow against Italy will determine if they will go into the quarterfinals undefeated, or if they'll go in with that 1 loss to Italy. But essentially, Italy, if they lose to the U.S., then the game that game they have later in the week, I think it's on the 11th, against Mexico, will determine who gets in with the U.S. out of Pool B.
Got it. But you definitely want to win your pool, because then you get a bye, which is nice.
But this World Baseball Classic, like, I didn't watch the previous ones, but I've been paying a lot of attention to this one, and this has been a very, very unique World Baseball Classic, and here's why. And I got like plenty. I wrote down plenty of notes on this. So one of the things that's so unique about the World Baseball Classic, as opposed to a regular MLB regular season game or even a postseason game, is they have something that's you only find in Little League and maybe high school, the mercy rule. And the mercy rule is when a team goes up so big that they don't even go the full 9 innings. And 4 games so far in pool play have had the mercy rule invoked and have ended either after 6 innings or 7 innings. And it started when Japan absolutely dog walked Chinese Taipei early at the start of the pool of the tournament, 13-0. It ended in 7 innings in the Tokyo Dome. And it's all happened after Japan scored all 13 of their runs in the 2nd and the 3rd inning. The 2nd inning was an absolute explosion of a 10-run inning for the Team Japan, which was started by Shohei Ohtani, the reigning NL MVP, hitting a towering grand slam to begin the scoring in the 2nd inning. He would go on to hit an RBI double. He ended up with 5 RBIs in that game, and Japan ended up winning that one 13-0. Japan has absolutely dominated their pool to the point that they're already into the quarterfinals, and they still have one game left to play in pool play, but they're already in because Korea, who is also in, are 2-2, and because they have beaten Australia and Chinese Taipei, and Japan has beaten those teams, they are not eligible to make it to the quarterfinals. Japan, by the way, in the 3 pool games that they played, have averaged 8.3 runs per game.
Wow.
8.3 runs per game they've averaged in pool play. And again, they still have one more game to play before they go on to the quarterfinals. Chinese Taipei, off of that,
the favorite to win this whole thing?
Japan.
Yeah.
Japan. Mostly because they have the World Series MVP, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and they have the reigning NL MVP in Shohei Ohtani. So they're the favorites. But yeah. I mean, and they look like the favorites too. The way they've been playing, they look like there's a reason why they're the favorites to win this, because they just are unstoppable. But Chinese Taipei took that ass whooping from Japan, but then they came back and handed one to Czechia 14-0 with only 7 innings. Stuart Fairchild stood out this game 2 for 2 with a home run and 4 RBIs and 2 walks for Chinese Taipei. Dominican Republic defeating the Netherlands 12-1 in 7 innings was the third game that had the mercy rule. They got home runs from 4 well-known Major League Baseball players: Vladdy Jr., Junior Caminero, Austin Wells, and then the home run that basically sealed it from former National, current New York Met, Juan Soto. That ended up being the home run that led to the mercy rule in the end of the game. And 3 Dominican Republic pitchers combined for the 5-hit, 1-run victory, striking out 11 batters in that one and only walking 1. And then Mexico, who we're seeing playing right now, beat down Brazil 16-0 in 6 innings just a couple days ago. Every inning in that one, they scored except for the 3rd inning. And Alejandro Kirk, who was kind of struggling in this game, went 2 for 3 with a homer and 4 RBIs in that game. I even watched Mexico when they played Great Britain last week, and that was a really tight game between Mexico and Great Britain until the 8th inning. And then Mexico just blew it wide open. It was 1-1 going into, I think it was like 2-2 going into the 8th inning. And then Mexico blew it open with 6 runs in the 8th and 9th inning combined to win that one. And so those were the games where the mercy rule was put into play, and it ended before they even got into the 8th inning. On the flip side,
that's amazing. I kind of love that, though.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that should be implemented in all baseball. If you ever get like a 10-run lead, it's just over. That would be. But I feel like concessions people probably don't want that, right? So
no, I agree, because the concession stands get hit hard, especially around the middle innings and stuff like that.
Yeah, because right before the stretch, when they have to close down the beer runs and stuff like that, so you want to at least make it that far. So
yeah, exactly. But on the flip side, while those 4 games had the mercy rule, we did have 2 games in pool play that went to extra innings.
Oh, nice.
Puerto Rico defeated Panama off of Darrell Hernandez game-winning walk-off home run in the 10th inning for Puerto Rico to defeat Panama 4-3 in 10 innings. Chinese Taipei defeated Korea in 10 innings. They got a sac bunt in the top of the 10th from Kun Young Chian to give them the lead, and they finished it off in the bottom of the 10th. 11 pitchers were used in that game, 6 from Chinese Taipei. Korea used 5 for that game. But we had 2 games go to extra innings. So all in all, it's been a pretty good balance. Nice changeup. It's been a pretty good balance of action here. And like I said, the standings, the Pool A and Pool B, it's still yet to be determined who's going to make the quarterfinals. In Pool A, Puerto Rico and Cuba are currently tied at 2-0. They're actually playing each other right now on FS1. So basically, the winner of that one right there will most likely have a road to the quarterfinals, while the other will have to play out the other pool match to see if they can make it to the quarterfinals as well. Canada is right behind them at 1-1. They still have 2 games to go. Colombia and Panama have played out their pool games. They're out at 1-3. Pool B, which is what we're seeing play out right now with Mexico and the United States, they, along with Italy, are tied at 2-0. They all have 2 more games to go, with the U.S. playing Mexico now. That's game 3. And in Italy tomorrow, Mexico plays Italy. Mexico plays Italy at the end of a couple days from now on the 11th. And again, if USA wins this game and then beats Italy, a nice slider right there. And US beats Italy, then Italy and Mexico on the 11th will be playing to get into the quarterfinals out of Pool B. Pool C, Japan and Korea have already clinched. They're in the quarterfinals. Pool D, Dominican Republic and Venezuela have clinched already, with Israel and the Netherlands sitting behind them at 1-2, and Nicaragua have gone winless at 0-3 with 1 game to go. Czechia in the Pool C is also winless at 0-3 with 1 game to go. Australia and Chinese Taipei, their pool play is done. They played their 4 games and they have no shot to make it into the quarterfinals. But yeah, this game right here is important.
Yeah, I just want to stop you real quick just because this is exciting. We're at the top of the 9th, right? This is 2 outs. This is potentially Mexico's last chance. They do have somebody on first base right now, and I thought that this would be a good opportunity for you to, since you're ahead of me, so I'll let you do it, the play-by-play if you want.
He threw him 2 straight sliders, and he swung and missed on both of them.
Wow.
He's got his tunnel set up for his slider, because he's thrown those changeups kind of low and in, or almost low middle, and so he could just throw his slider right now. Well, he's had to take a timeout because the pitch clock was running down. I think he can't hear from his pitch comm. That's something different from when I grew up watching baseball. Now they have pitch comms. They don't do the signs no more because of what the Houston Astros did. So now they have pitch comms. Oh, there was a slider, but he missed the spot.
Wait, that pitch comes just for this or also in MLB?
It's an MLB. It's been a thing for the last couple of years now. They use pitch comms now to call pitches, so that no one steals it and tries to figure out what pitch they're going to throw. They have it in their ear, and they tell them, here, throw this, they'll say fastball or slider, changeup or curveball.
So the pitcher.
Oh, got it! Ball game.
Nice.
Team USA moves on.
I honestly didn't know that. So now pitchers are mic'd up, and that's how the catchers hear it?
No, they're not really mic'd up. It's a little, I think it's like an earpiece, a little small earpiece that's in their ear, and I think they get the call from the dugout from the pitching coach or something like that. Because again, they don't do signs anymore because of what happened with the Houston Astros and stealing signs and all that shit. So now they do pitch comms and everything like that.
I had no idea. That's crazy.
Yeah, they do that. I think it's in all of baseball, because I watch a lot of videos of Trevor Bauer, who won the Cy Young Award in the NL back in 2020, that shortened season. And when he pitched in Mexico, he had a pitch comm in his ear, because when he put out his videos, either his shorts or his full length videos, you could hear the pitches being called in the videos that's coming through in his ear, and that's what he throws. And so, yeah, that's what they do now, is they do pitch comms, which I think is brilliant, because again, now you take away the you add the guesswork in for the hitter. Now the hitter doesn't know what's coming because no one's seeing the signs.
So the coach is telling the catcher and the pitcher which one to do.
Yes.
And so there's no longer can the pitcher still shake it off?
Yeah. The pitcher can shake it off.
Shakes it off, and then they call a different call in.
Yeah, they call a different pitch. And everything like that. Wow. But it's really cool. Like I said,
time though, champ, when you think about it, now with you can review, balls and strikes, and
they're bringing in ABS this season.
Right. So I don't know.
They're also bringing in the ABS review system into MLB The Show 26. They actually had an advertisement for that during this game. And by the way, I did pre-order MLB The Show 26, and I get early access starting Friday. So I will tell y'all about that when we come back for the 10th anniversary next week. How I like that game.
Are you going to stream that at all?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I might stream it since I have early access. I might stream it. We'll see.
It might be a cool idea. Anyway, it's a thought.
But yeah, they're bringing the ABS review to the regular season, and they're bringing it to their game as well. So I'll be interested to see how that works out. I don't know if it's going to be in the Road to the Show mode, but I'm hoping it is, because that's the only mode that I really play on MLB The Show is Road to the Show. I sometimes play Diamond Dynasty against the computer, but other than that, I usually play just Road to the Show. So I can't wait to see some of the new improvements to Road to the Show. Like they added 11 more colleges, so that because last year's title, they introduced the high school years where you start off your career as a high school player, where you play a number of games as a high school player, and you get scouted by colleges and everything like that. And then you either get to pick your college, or depending on how good you play in high school, you can get drafted straight out of high school and then make the choice to either go straight to the majors or not accept being drafted and go to college to improve your draft placement. And then once you finish off college and everything like that, then you can get drafted and go to the major leagues and things like that. So very, very exciting. And back to the World Baseball Classic, very exciting that Team USA is now in to the quarterfinals. Even if they lose to Italy on tomorrow, they're still in, and then it'll be between Mexico and Italy to determine who will be the other spot. But I would love to see Team USA finish off undefeated, to make it no doubt, there be no question about it. They have a really solid team there. Aaron Judge went yard in this game, had a 2-run home run in the 5th inning, and Roman Anthony then turned around a couple at bats later and had a 3-run home run. All 5 of their runs were scored in the not the 5th inning, it was in the 3rd inning where they scored all 5 of their runs, and that was the big difference in this one for them to put down Mexico. So I will be definitely keeping an eye out. Matter of fact, I'm about to put on I think Cuba versus Puerto Rico might be over. But
I got some exciting news. I didn't realize. So unlike Madden, which doesn't have cross-platform play, MLB The Show, you can play on the Switch with people on PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, MLB The Show. All the MLB The Show's cross-play is like default on.
That's amazing.
It's awesome.
I've never had an MLB The Show game. I've actually never played it, which is, I didn't even realize it was on the Switch.
When I first bought my Xbox back in 2024, after my father passed, I went and got MLB The Show 24, but it was already available on Game Pass. And I had gotten Game Pass for free. Yeah, that's Puerto Rico and Cuba's done. But I had gotten Game Pass. I had gotten it for 3 months for free when I got my Xbox, and so that's what got me into MLB The Show was 24, because that was the one that had Vladdy on the cover, and. So that's when I learned about, crossplay and learned about Road to the Show and everything like that. And I like the fact with Road to the Show, you could either be a straight up pitcher, starting pitcher, straight up relief pitcher, straight up closing pitcher. You could be an outfielder, you can be an infielder, you can be a catcher, or you could do like I've done the last couple titles, and be a two-way player where you can pitch and you can play the field and bat. And
so I have a question. In MLB The Show, is it like Madden where I could join your team and play with you, or is it only like one versus there used to be Madden modes where you could play multiple positions and play co-op, right? Can you do that in MLB The Show, or is it only one team versus the other?
I do believe they do have a co-op mode in Diamond Dynasty, because I've seen it. I've never played it because, like I said, I normally only play Road to the Show, which is a single player mode. Okay. But I have seen there is a co-op option on the Diamond Dynasty, which Diamond Dynasty is essentially you can collect cards of players. and you can use those cards to put together a team to go up against other players in the Diamond Dynasty mode and things like that. And it's a lot. And like I said, I've only played against somebody, I think, once or twice in Diamond Dynasty. And it was just, I really wasn't a fan of it because I think they just played bad on purpose to try to get me to quit. And I just wouldn't quit. I just kept pounding them. And I think eventually they finally quit because I realized I wasn't going to quit. I was just going to keep beating their ass. And so they ended up just rage quitting. But I
would love like a co-op baseball. I think that'd be just kind of a cool thing to play. Like, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if they have that for this.
Yeah. I agree.
I would definitely tune in to see what you could do, and obviously, I always think that playing live streaming is always cool because if something exciting happens, you could always clip it for
right.
But
yeah, like I said, I got the deluxe edition, which usually goes for $100 to get the deluxe, but I managed to catch it with a sale, so it ended up only costing me $90 instead of $100. So I ended up saving $10 on the deluxe. So because I got the deluxe, I get early access 4 days before it comes out, because it comes out for the public on the 17th. But if you get the deluxe edition, you get to start playing it on the 13th, which is usually what I do with a lot of these games when they come out. I tend to get the deluxe so I can get that early access, so I can start building up like my creative players a couple days early before anybody else does. I even did that with PGA Tour 2K25. I got the deluxe edition, and I was able to get the sneak preview and build up my character and everything like that. So, but I can't wait for MLB The Show to come out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, it comes out Friday, so you may end up seeing a pop-up stream Friday night when I get done with work. And I may stream a little bit of gameplay of like building up my character, doing the high school gimmick and everything like that, and what have you. So, I'm looking forward to it.
I always like streaming first thoughts of a game just because it was fun to go back and watch anyway. Like for me, like last week, Pokopia, the new Pokemon game came out, and man, that game is fun. Like, I mean, I loved Animal Crossing. I mean, Liz and I put 1,000 hours into an island during the pandemic, right? So
yeah, a lot of people was on that Animal Crossing gimmick during the pandemic.
Yeah, and we just showed it to Zach a couple of years ago. So he's played like 50 hours. He's played some. He understands the idea, and it's basically like that, but also like Dragon Quest Builders, where you're literally, it's this cool dynamic where it's basically a desolate planet, right? And you arrive and you're just this ditto, and there's just no life except for one professor, and the professor is like, oh my god, life. And so you are the life, and as you turn into a human to pretend to be a human, and you literally make some plants come together, and then a Pokemon pops out of that. And that Pokemon, you can have assist you in teaching you their ways, like how to water things, like with a Squirtle, or how to do like pull plants out of the ground, like a Bulbasaur, right? And so you learn these skills because you're a Ditto. You can learn skills from all the Pokemon, and then you befriend the Pokemon, and they go off and build stuff for you. And so you have these entire like teams of Pokemon going off and like building houses. And then my friend was showing me.
Robbie, it's funny that you mentioned that game because I don't know if she's still going to be on by the time we get done with this, but my friend Britt Brat, who I mod for, she's on that game now because she's been doing a lot of Pokemon card ripping and stuff like that. So she's on the game now. She's having an absolute blast.
It's such a fun game. My friend came over today. He's already put 30 hours into it. It came out Thursday, by the way. So like, Benson, from the Super Bowl and stuff like that. So,
I'm pretty sure he put in that much time in that.
So like, as I told him day one, he saw the stream and I liked these, so he got it and then just like blew past me, right? It was like, and because it's open world, so unlike Animal Crossing, which you have an island, this. You have literally the entire original game of Red and Blue's world open, an open world, and you're bringing each city back to life. So, like, it's so much possibilities because you can make the city however you want to make them.
Right.
So you can make it like the original games, or you can design whatever the heck you want to design, right? So like it's infinite possibilities. People can travel the world and jump into your game, build with you. You can even, there's a gimmick where if people have a Switch nearby, you can turn off building mode and just like explore mode, and you can invite all of your friends. So like all my family members have regular Switch ones. They could all join me on this island together and just play with me offline. So
Yeah,
like
that's
that's kind
pretty
of cool. Like because they don't even need a Switch 2 to do that feature. So I was like, that's kind of a cool.
That's pretty
thing.
dope.
Yeah. So anyway, I may do some more of those streams in the future. I had a lot of fun doing that, and the VOD is up for me and my first look with Zach, and I'm just so happy to have like my favorite Pokemon pop up, and like they put so much time and effort into this. Like it's basically Minecraft level of possibilities, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm excited for creators like Britbrat and others, you know, because I feel like it can maybe this summer I may like do some streams when we're not doing the podcast, you know, and it's kind of cozy and stuff like that. But let's get back into sports. Where I'm excited about the World Baseball Classic. We'll definitely do an update next week on that as well. But let's switch gears to DC United, who had their biggest game, maybe ever in the terms of just sheer size. Unfortunately, they didn't win said biggest game ever, but what a great experience for the franchise, and just talk about playing at M&T Bank Stadium where the Ravens play.
Yeah, they played at M&T Bank, but their opponents were the reigning MLS Cup champions, Inter Miami. But it was a pretty somewhat of a close game. I mean, Miami scored early and pretty often in the first half. Rodrigo de Paul scored in the 17th minute to give them a 1-0 lead. And then one of the most popular players at MLS, Leon Messi, scored in the 27th minute to give them a 2-0 advantage in the first half.
I love what he has brought to the sport, right? The eyeballs.
I agree.
Like 2 out of his 3 games that they've played this season have set records. Both games over 70,000 and bigger than the Super Bowl in total attendance numbers, which is incredible for a sport that's often relegated.
It's crazy. He's bringing much more record-setting numbers than Beckham did when he was with LA.
Right.
That's what's crazy. And Beckham was, at the time, one of the biggest soccer stars in the world. But Messi is
still at a different level, I think.
He's just eclipsed it. He's eclipsed it.
899th goal in his career. That's what that number was.
That's crazy. He's about to hit 900.
Right.
But DC did get on the board, though, in the second half in the 75th minute. Ty Baribo did score in the 75th minute to make it so that it wouldn't be a shutout, but it ended with Inter Miami getting the victory. Shots on goal. DC had 10 with 5 on target, while Miami had 6 with 4 on target. Miami held on to the ball 60% of the game, while DC held on to it for 40% of the game. And that's what led to Inter Miami being able to take the victory. The next match for DC United is coming up this Saturday. They head to Soldier Field in Chicago to play Chicago Fire FC, who has a 59% win probability over DC United, with a 22% probability of a draw. So DC United is an underdog going into Chicago to face Chicago Fire FC. And right now, even though it's a very long season, if the season ended today, even though it's only been 3 games, if the season ended today, DC would be in the play-in. They're 8th in the Eastern Conference table, so they would be in the play-in right now if the season
haven't
ended
even
today.
won a game. The only reason is like the ineptitude of the rest of the league more than But I'll take it. But we need to start winning some games again.
Yeah, like I said, they won their opening game of the season. They've lost 2 straight, so they gotta get it together, and they gotta get it together against Chicago to at least get the 6 points and put themselves up in the Eastern Conference table. But I think they can do it with them being an underdog. I think they can do it on the road. But this was a huge game for DC United. To play as such a large in front of such a large crowd at M&T Bank Stadium against the defending champions. And even though they ended up losing, they still kind of kept it relatively close. So a decent game for them, but not a very good result. So they definitely need to get it. Do better in Soldier Field in Chicago on Saturday if they're going to at least get this season started off on the right foot.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll hopefully get back on the winning ways. But it's nice to see the numbers. I mean, it's literally the biggest soccer game in Maryland history, pretty much. And at least for DC United specifically, like they've had some, international games that have existed over the years. But I'm happy to see people come out because I've always been a big fan of soccer and.
I got to look at the schedule for MLS because I got to see if they're going to be on a break because the FIFA World Cup is coming up. It's starting in June or July. Oh, it's starting in June and runs into July. Only reason why I know that is because they're going to be doing some FIFA matches in Florida, and that's where my father's family reunion is taking place this year. And so the person that's hosting it had to make sure to find a good hotel for the family with the World Cup being in Florida this year. So I'll be interested to see what the schedule is going to look like for MLS because I'm sure that a lot of players in MLS are going to be representing their countries in the FIFA World Cup this year. So I'm going to
I just asked the question because let's see, it can figure out the answer fast for us. MLS will pause regular season games from May 25th to July 16th.
Okay, so they will go on a FIFA break.
And the World Cup itself runs from June 11th to July 19th. So, interesting. But so, I guess MLS comes back for the last 3 days of it? Interesting that...
Well, probably because like the FIFA World Cup is probably going to be like by July it'll be like the knockout stage and whatnot.
So most of the players can come back, and then I guess they're just on loan if they're still playing, and then teams at least have enough players to field the team. So
exactly, I think that's probably what it is that depending on what teams remain and go into the knockout stages, whoever doesn't make it to the knockout stages, their players can probably go back to MLS and compete in the MLS regular season. That's probably what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure the same thing's going to happen with the WBC is that the teams that don't make it to the knockout stage, their players who are in the MLB will probably go back to their teams to do spring training and everything like that. Look at the segue, though. We could talk about the Nats off that segue.
Yeah, there you go. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, the Nats are actually doing pretty well in spring training so far. They went 3-1 this week. They lost I don't know what it is about Houston. They've tied Houston twice, and then they beat Houston, and then they lost to Houston all in the same week. After the week prior, they tied them twice. They also beat the Mets and the Yankees this week. They finished went 3-1 this week. They're currently 7-4-3 in spring training so far. They have a game coming up tomorrow. I think it's against Houston again. But they've been doing pretty well in the spring training. But the big question is that can this and what they're doing in spring training translate to a 162-game regular season, because they have not had a great regular season since their championship run in 2019. So it's been 7 years now that they've had a good season. So hopefully with the new manager and the change up top in the front office and making some moves in free agency and making trades, they did trade away, as we mentioned previously, they traded away Mackenzie Gore and everything like that. They did sign a veteran starter recently. I'm gonna look it up real quick, but they did sign a veteran starter on a 1-year deal to come in. So we'll have to see where he fits in the rotation, and if he's able to bring some kind of stability to that rotation and be able to make them a much more viable team moving forward. But it's going to be interesting, to say the very least. They've been rebuilding for the last 7 years. I hope the rebuild is finally done and they can actually start contending in the National League East.
Yeah, that'd be good. Chad was talking about how long it's been since the championships. If people would like to get some of that championship merch, I love how it's come out. I've been wearing this like almost every day. I'm happy about the Defenders. Are going to be the reigning champions. We still have one, but it's been pretty tough for the Capitals and Nationals fans because we haven't really put it together in the same way since those runs that were so magical and historic in so many different ways.
Here we go. So the Nationals just recently signed from the Cincinnati. He pitched for the Cincinnati Reds, Zach Lytle, to a 1-year deal, and it includes a mutual option that comes from the Baltimore Banners, Andy Kostek. He made 32 starts for the Rays and the Reds last season. He had a 3.81 ERA and a 1.10 WHIP and 186 2/3 innings pitched. He would be the only other veteran that's on that staff, along with Miles Mikolas, who signed as a free agent back in February. The projected rotation for the Nationals going into the regular season would be Lytle, Mikolas, and a combination of Kay Cavalli, Brad Lord, Josiah Gray, and Foster Griffin. That's what your starting rotation is looking like going into this season. So it'll be interesting to see what this rotation can do and if they can keep this team in the games, because that was one of the issues with this team last year, was that sometimes the rotation can do their job and keep runs off the board. The problem was the Nationals weren't putting enough runs on the board to support them, and then the bullpen would end up flushing the game away. And so hopefully the starting rotation can continue that trend, but then the Nationals offense can buck the trend and start giving up more run support, so that way they can win more games, because that was a major issue last season.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick Wizards update. They haven't won a game this month. They lost to Houston last Monday, or at Orlando last Tuesday, 126-109. Last Thursday, lost to Utah, 122-112. And on Sunday at New Orleans, they lost 138-118. They are looking better, but they're constantly finding ways to pull players and continue the tank. And, it's...
Positive, though, on the last two games that you talk about with the Jazz and the Pelicans is we finally got to see Trae Young play. Even though he was on limited minutes because he's coming back from injury, he still made the most of those limited minutes. His debut against Utah, he only played 19 minutes, but he still scored 12 points with 2 boards and 6 assists in 19 minutes. By the way, that game with Utah, which was a high-scoring affair, 7 Wizards players were in double figures. Trey Johnson, which included Trae Young with his 12, Trey Johnson at 15, Bilal Coulibaly, who got the start in this game at forward, had 17, and Julian Reese, who was in the middle at center, had a double-double, 18 points and 20 rebounds. So he was definitely working in the paint in that one. And then Trae Young followed up that debut with 17 points in 18 minutes against the Pelicans with 4 rebounds and 8 assists. Trey Johnson had 20 points in 22 minutes, and you had 6 players in double figures for the Wizards. On the flip side with Utah, Ace Bailey went off, 32 points in 33 minutes. Kyle Flipkowski had a double-double, 20 points and 14 boards in 31 minutes. In the loss to the Pelicans, Sadiq Bey had a double-double, 23 points and 10 boards in 29 minutes. The Orlando game, they got absolutely just run out the gym. They shot 46.7% from the field at the Wizards to Orlando's 55.3%. Paolo Banchero led all scorers with 37 points in 32 minutes. Unbelievable. The Wizards' shooting has been not very good this week. They shot under 50% in all 3 games, while their opponents shot over 50% in those games. So that's something that they definitely need to work on, is the shooting, because that's what's been causing them to lose a lot of games, especially when they're not playing sound defense and their opponents are shooting over 50% from the field. They have 4 games coming up this week, Robbie. They have Miami tomorrow in Miami. Then they're in Orlando on Thursday. They're in Boston on Saturday. And then on Monday, which will be a post game for us, they host Golden State. And right now, for everybody who's a fan of the tank, they are definitely tanking. They are second to last in the Eastern Conference at 16-47. You're welcome.
Yeah, no, it's just so many games we still have to tank through. So, but I appreciate you slogging through their schedule with us, and it's funny because Koulibaly really had a terrible shooting in that one game against Utah.
He didn't look very good shooting in that one. I think he had only 6 points in that game.
Yeah, exactly, and it was not good, and I think it was it was the New Orleans game. I'm sorry, that was the one that I was thinking of. He was 1 for 12 and 1 for 7 from 3, which is rough, So, especially in a game where we lost that one by 20, but you shoot yourselves out of it sometimes. We missed 50 shots in that game. So that's.
By the way, quick note on the game tonight between Team USA and Team Mexico. One, this was played in front of a pro Mexico crowd in Houston at the Daikin Park, where the Houston Astros play of 41,628 fans. And this was a revenge game for the U.S. because in the 2023 WBC, Mexico routed them 11-5.
I remember that game.
Yeah, so this was a revenge game for Team USA to beat Mexico. And again, if they beat Italy tomorrow, they have secured a spot in the quarterfinals that start this weekend in Houston. So go Team USA on that one. Hopefully they're able to get that one, even though I'm very sad that that Paul Skeens, that's going to be the only time that he pitches in this tournament. I would have loved to have seen him go up and gets go pitch in the knockout stage and go out there and pitch the way that he did against Mexico tonight with a four inning shutout and striking out 7. I would love to have seen that. Another thing about World Baseball Classic I like is they have pitching limits for starters. I think the pitching limit is 65 in the pool stage, and I think it's like 80 or something like that in the knockout stage. So their limits on starting pitchers pitching. So, a lot of starting pitchers, unless they have a lot of 1, 2, 3 innings with very low pitch counts in these innings, they're not going to pitch past the 5th or 6th inning in the pool stage, but they could potentially pitch past that in the knockout stage.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've gone through all the sports. But good job on all the coverage. Thank you so much for breaking it down as always.
And we are 18 sleeps away from the DC Defenders beginning their defense of the UFL Championship.
Nice. Yeah, so next week I'll definitely get a World Baseball Classic recap from you, on how things go with all this. Hopefully we're still in the tournament, so that'll be fun. I'm hoping to get some March Madness coverage. I mean, this show's gone on far too long for me to start going into all of that now, but do know that there is the tournaments for all the different conferences this week, which will obviously affect the seeding, and then next Sunday we will know the bracket. I will definitely on the page post a bracket and something fun for people to maybe compete with us on, just for fun. I usually like to do that. So stay tuned to Facebook, and hopefully you'll see it there. It's facebook.com/SportsOTHP. If we do some sort of bracket challenge or something fun there, we always post them there. We probably will. And then I'm going to try to get Arun and Tim on next week to talk both about the World Baseball Classic with Champ and myself, but also about March Madness as well. And we will be celebrating 10 years of the podcast, as the actual anniversary is always on St. Patrick's Day, and so St. Patrick's Day will be the next day, obviously. So we will, next Monday, that will be our celebration, and then the week after that, we will close season 10, and then I'll take 2 weeks off, taking a couple of different trips. One to Mexico, a team that we just beat, and the other one is to Texas, which we were just talking about, which is where they're playing some of these baseball games. So that'll be fun to get to go to there on those trips. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm not going to lie to you, Robbie. As much as I love doing this podcast, those 2 weeks are going to be wonderful because I can sleep early, and that way I don't have to be struggling to wake up the next day when I got to go into the office. So that's going to be wonderful.
Yes, I'm happy for all of the incredible team. I'm so in awe of everybody that puts in the time and effort. You know, you did pages and pages of notes tonight, and Sith has all the notes and all the stuff from all the matches, and Gil does all the video work, editing all those together, and Jenaya bringing her insights from all over, and just invaluable stuff. And there's so many on the team, whether it's Arun and Tim and and Benson and others and C4. I mean, we had a live person at the game tonight sending us videos that we were showing on the stream, which is something I'd always dreamed of us ever getting to the point of doing that. And it happened tonight, and then got her live post-game reaction as she's walking to the Metro. Like, that's so cool, champ. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no other podcast, I feel, does that. And it's been such a fun ride these 10 years, and I'm looking forward to celebrating it. And hopefully we'll have some more surprises and different guests and other stuff coming at you too.
Hey, Robbie, I don't know if you heard the recent podcast that we did, but we actually had a special cameo appearance in our Twitch chat from the Modfather.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Stuart.
Awesome.
Stuart dropped in and hung out for a little bit before he had to go and coach his boys' soccer team, but he came in for a little bit. That was pretty cool. So yeah, that's, I mean, it's great to see the teams intertwined somewhat when it comes to.
Yeah, no, I love it. Awesome. I mean, you guys brought back a passion in wrestling for me. Like, I watched today and I got so jacked up with some of those opening segments today, and I was like, I need to be here for those moments, especially watching the Million Men come out and him get swarmed into that. What a cool bit, I don't know, just with Seth freaking Rollins, I don't know, I feel like I've just never really seen that before. So it's nice that they're pushing envelopes and finding ways to mess with the vision, and I think I'm excited to see how that story goes, and it's been a fun run up to WrestleMania so far. And
just the corrections, Robbie. I made an error. I said that it was Paul Skeens that was going to be only pitching this one start, and that was it. It's not Paul Skeens. It's actually Tariq Skubal, the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner. He's going to be leaving the team and going back to spring training with the Detroit Tigers. He did pitch. He did have a start in this tournament. He pitched against Great Britain on Saturday. He gave up 2 hits, 1 earned run with no walks and 5 strikeouts on 41 pitches over 3 innings. So he already had his experience in the WBC, and now he's going to head back. He said he factored in things such as routine timing and making sure he's ready for opening day. That was what played into his decision to decide to not pitch any further in the WBC so that he could be ready to pitch for Detroit and things like that. But he said he enjoyed his experience with the WBC, and he said it was very hard to make that decision and everything like that. But, it was all about timing. You know, the WBC is happening in the middle of spring training, and he wants to focus on, you know, being ready for the Tigers and being ready for a 162 game season where he'll most likely make like 30 plus starts and everything like that. So, you know,
I mean,
I
I
would
love
love
this
to.
tournament. It's got some interesting timing in the fact that people haven't, potentially pitched and batted in important games yet. And so, it's interesting to see who's in what form. There's been some great games, so I'm actually impressed with the fitness of these guys that are coming into it because you need spring training to get going for a lot of these players, right? And so it's been interesting for that. One thing I don't know if you guys mentioned when I left the room earlier, but that there was a title change on SmackDown. Did we talk about that at all?
No, we did not talk about Cody Rhodes once again becoming the undisputed WWE champion. His third time being a champion. We all kind of felt that was going to happen, especially when the match was announced in the post show for
Last week
Elimination
we previewed
Chamber.
it. I think we talked about that. We thought that was the direction it was going. So.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is now it's going to point to Randy Orton versus Cody, but Drew's going to have an issue with it because of the fact that he was put in that championship match. Jacob has an issue with Drew, and they're going to turn into a multi-man. So just mark my words, it's going to become a multi-man either this Friday or next Friday. But between now and the next couple of weeks, that matchup is going to go from Cody versus Randy for the title to Cody versus Randy versus Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre for the title at WrestleMania. And you know what? I wouldn't be mad about that. I would love to watch that match. And
you
I
don't
will
think
watch
that
that
it could just be a situation where there's like a spin-off match where it's Drew versus Fatu, separately, no title on the line?
I mean, it's always a possibility. That's always a possibility that they could go that route as well. But I think the way that these stories have intertwined, it's almost playing into the fact that it's going to be a multi-man match because everybody seems to be intertwining with each other when it comes to Cody and Randy and Drew and Jacob. They're all intertwined, and so it just makes more sense that they put them all into one match to kind of bring all the stories together into that one match and just get it all done in that one match. And it'll most likely be the night one main event because of the fact that Roman versus CM Punk is such a big time matchup. That has to be the night two main event.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting. It's going to be a very interesting road to WrestleMania, I'll tell you what. And more matches are going to start to take shape over the next couple of weeks. And
I'm excited for the next two podcasts where I get to talk to you about, I think a lot of storylines will have developed and to talk about the live Raws the next 2 weeks. It's been fun to be able to, come in right as the Raw is ending and, climaxing, if you will, at the top of what it's doing. So it's... I don't know. I'm excited to sort of see where it's going and the stories that are being drawn out here. But with that, I think... Oh, wait. Is Britt Bat still on?
Let me see. Let me see it. She might be still on. She might not be. Nope, she's gone.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, she's gone. But
Britt Bat TV, yeah.
Yeah, she's gone. But I do love the fact that she's playing that the Pokemon
Pokopia, yeah.
Pokopia, thank you. I don't know why I can't words. I mean, words are hard.
It's a hard word.
Yeah.
I think we're just gonna jump off with a no raid today. But let me just see. I do have a friend who's on. Let me just see what he's doing. It's okay. I think we'll call it a night here. It was a nice long podcast. So thank you, Champ, for championing these last 2 hours. Thank you, Sith, for joining us for the front part of that, and thank you, Gil and C4 for being our live reporter on the scene on a big win and to score the first 3 goals and have 3 scored against you, and then to score 4 goals in the third period. I mean, that's
I was wondering because I saw they were up 3-0 after the first period. I was like, oh, they dog walking these dudes, and then the room comes back and said it's 3-3, and I was like,
I think happened? I was jinxing it. I switched to this black District of Champions merch. You get it now, right? Because I wanted to wear it. And the second I put it, it just started going downhill. And then when we got live on air, I told Gil right before, I'm going to put this red on because I was wearing red before. And it's the same gear, but it's in red, right? And then the second, it went back the other way. So clearly, this I love, but like I needed to rock the red at home. So, but you can get either one of them, obviously. And special shout out, we have 2 weeks left of this deal. If you Season X, I think is the password for Season 10. You can get a discount for $5 off of the District of Champions merch. So go pick it up. It's been an incredible run. Thank you everyone for being a part of these last 10 years. We'll talk about it more next week, but it's just been such a fun thing. I was talking with Jenaya earlier, champ. It's going to be such a sad episode coming up soon if Ovechkin does announce his retirement. But what an incredible opportunity to get to cover all these, the last 10 years or so of it, and we can still hope that maybe we get one more year out of him. But I'm really excited to see where the Commanders are going. Season 11 is shaping up to be a really interesting one, possibly for the Nats as well. And then, obviously, the defending champions, the Defenders right here. So we'll get to cover them as well. So lots of fun stuff. Definitely go check out Champ and Sith. I'll do everyone's thing one more time. Sith's Basement. If you want to check that out, you can also, of course, check out the No Spots podcast. You guys are doing the actual podcast on Friday this week, is that right?
Saturday. We're doing it on Saturday because we're going to be previewing AEW Revolution. Revolution is actually going to be on a Sunday. AEW doesn't really do a lot of Sunday pay-per-views. They tend to do them on like a Saturday, but this year they're doing Revolution on a Sunday. It's their first pay-per-view of the year, so we're going to preview that. And as we already said on air, we're not going to do live reactions to Revolution because I will be predisposed because I'll be at an indie show that night, and so Seth's not going to do the solo, even though he gets AEW pay-per-views at a lower rate than I would get them because he has HBO Max. So, but either way, we'll talk about Revolution this Saturday coming up, and in the following week we'll talk about it again, doing a recap of it for everybody who watches it and stuff like that. But that's coming up. We also have episode 2 of the New Japan Cup recap. The New Japan Cup has started. The last first round matches have already happened. The second round begins tomorrow, actually, which is the day that we're recording that episode. And so we'll talk about all the first round matches for the New Japan Cup on Tuesday, along with the first couple of second round matches and everything like that. Will you
live react to some of the second round matches because it's the same time or because it's different time zones? How does that work?
Robbie, I'm gonna just tell you right now, ain't nobody gonna be up at 4:00 in the morning watching Twitch.
Oh, it's 4. Okay, it's 4:00.
It's in Japan. Japan is like way ahead of us. So I think the show starts at like 6, and we just spring forward. So it'll actually be 5:30 in the morning instead of 4:30 in the morning since we sprang forward yesterday. But yeah, no, like. We could never live react to any New Japan shows because it's so early in the morning that I don't think anybody would be watching it. And even though I suffer from insomnia sometimes and I don't sleep, it just wouldn't make any sense.
I thought that you were saying that you were reacting for the first couple. I misunderstood what you were saying.
No. We're gonna talk about the first round matches and the second round matches that are taking place tomorrow. But yeah, we don't live react to New Japan because again, it's so early in the morning. Though one of these days we may live react to like a New Japan USA pay-per-view. Maybe, we'll see. But the New Japan shows that are in Japan, no, because it's so early in the morning. Like sometimes if they do a show on Sunday, it may start at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
crazy.
Well, but so that's gonna be on Tuesdays tomorrow,
Yep.
for that one, and then Saturday for the regular podcast, and then
Yep.
you may do a pop up stream on Friday to
Yep.
do the game. So
Yep.
those are all of the streams for Champ. I also put in chat the links to the Power Play Point podcast with Gil, who always does a great job. We're hoping to have Anna back next week, and then I also have a link to Jenaya's stuff. She does phenomenal stuff. We'll probably try to get her back on in a couple of weeks as sort of an ending to our season, unfortunately. I definitely think we will cover some of the NHL playoffs because there's some exciting storylines. Whether or not we put that at the front of the show or we move stuff around is to be determined. But I kind of just want to see how things are going in April. And I'm excited about the next couple of weeks, though. So we got 10-year special, then it's the end of season 10, and then the beginning of season 11 on the flip side of that, and then we'll do.
Are the Caps really out of the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean they'd have to win all of the remaining games. So it's a great question. So they're not completely there is a chance, but for people that don't know, this is actually a good opportunity for me to mention where they're in standings because I meant to do that earlier. So for the playoffs, what it is the top 3 teams in the division get automatically put in, right? So Carolina, Pittsburgh, and the Islanders are the top 3, and then there's 8 spots, right? So then there's 2 remaining wild cards that get in that are not division leaders because 3 from each of the 2 divisions. And so right now they're being held by Montreal and Boston, so they have 78 and 76 points. Washington has 71 points, so we're 5 points back of them. But the problem is Columbus, Ottawa, and Philadelphia are all still above us and have played less games. So they have 2 games in hand on us and already have more points than us, right? So you have to jump potentially 5 teams. So that's the difficulty here is they're not that far away in points. It's just I feel like other teams are going to gain points by playing each other, and it's just going to be hard. If they won out, yes, of course they have a chance, but it's going to be really difficult for sure. Their best chance, I think, is catching the Islanders to actually be the 3rd best team in the division because the wild card I think is going to be really tough to get. And because right now the Islanders are at 77 and Boston, which is the bottom wild card, is 76, right? So they're almost the same. So that would be the better play. Man, that would be exciting though. If we could steal the Islanders spot somehow, but the Islanders have been playing pretty well lately. That'd be crazy to play Pittsburgh in the first round, potentially a last matchup between Sid and Ovi. Obviously, I'm hoping that they go on a big run. As was mentioned earlier, they've got a pretty tough week ahead. One of the teams that's above them or right in line with them is Philadelphia, and then Buffalo is actually the number 1 team in the Atlantic right now, which is crazy. And so, if you could beat both of those, you'd have obviously.
This pod goes on. This is the pod that
well,
never
I wanted to get to the 3 hour
It just goes
mark.
on and on, my friends.
We're only 45 seconds away from 3 hours, so But anyway, thank you everyone for being a part of it. We are going to end it here, but it was a fun show, and we will be back to celebrate 10 years next week.
Go Gigenyo, sayonara, and bye-bye.